Fastball drilled deep left field. Gone!
Our neighbors to the north, Minneapolis, Minnesota, no need for the indoor pedestrian walkways today. No snow on the ground, and that's good news. Target Field, the lovely home of the Minnesota Twins. Game number 3 of 3 between the Sox and the Twins, and the decisive Game 3. The Sox right now with 24 games to play, including tonight, are tied for first place with the Cleveland Indians. Minnesota right on both teams' tails. And this evening, the Sox turn to Reynaldo Lopez, who was injured in his first start of the year against Minnesota. The Twins get another look at him, and the Sox get one more look after many at Jose Barrios. Thank you for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Two 26-year-olds today. Barrios, the ace. Lopez trying to bounce back from a season last year he wanted to be better.
Now, normally we talk to you about hitters in the first segment, but because today is such a big pitching day for both teams, we're going after the right-handers. Reynaldo Lopez, a huge game for him. He's got to reestablish that he belongs in this rotation. Jose Barrios, who started out very well against our Sox, lately is not throwing so well against them. His ERA is kind of up there. So for Lopez, he wants to keep the team out of the bullpen. He wants to extend this outing. He wants to establish the fact he can throw strikes, and he's telling Ricky he understands everything you're telling me. Jose Barrios, you look, the first 10 starts, little over 2 for an ERA. Things didn't go very well. They were mystified by his curveball. The last 5 starts, he's starting to hang a few of those. The boys are starting to get to him, and hopefully that's the Barrios that we see tonight, because for both teams, this is a big one. And the only disaster would be if one team had swept the other team. That's not going to happen, but both of these teams really want this ball game tonight.
And Jose Barrios, let's break it down for you in terms of what the Sox have done against specific pitches those last 5 starts. The curveball, Steve, we saw in his first couple of starts looked absolutely unhittable. The Sox have figured that out the last few.
Well, you take a look, it's almost 100 points difference the last 5 times he went to the mound. So they are hitting the off-speed pitches, which they didn't at first. Hopefully that guy that you're looking at will hang a few tonight, and the big boys will take advantage of it.
Look, we are capital J journalists in this booth. We do the hard-hitting news, hard-hitting questions, hard-hitting outfielders and shortstops. Hard hits everywhere. Roll out the barrel with us next.
Is brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. First Midwest Bank, helping you build momentum. You have plans. First Midwest Bank has ideas. Xfinity. Xfinity X5 delivers blazing fast Wi-Fi with no curveballs. And by Wintrust, home of White Sox checking. Visit wintrust.com/Sox to open today.
Well, the Sox have great camaraderie in the dugout, and there's been a lot of dancing because Eloy Jimenez hits the ball really, really hard in his second major league season. The barrel, the perfect combination of exit velocity and launch angle, normally gets you a home run. Eloy is very good at that. Sox and Twins only saw 5 runs last night. That's got to change tonight, right, with these offenses?
I think it's absolutely going to change, and one of the guys leading the way is going to be Eloy Jimenez. Now, everybody hits the ball hard on this team, but he hits it the hardest, and he hits it the hardest just about all of baseball. You look at percentage, 99, barrels, 98. XSLG, well, that's big too. Exit velocity, terrific. XWOBA, outstanding. And XBA, even better. So things going great for Eloy. Hopefully he continues to hit the ball hard tonight, and if he does, our boys are going to be in good shape. This is one they truly want.
I hate to be Jack Merriam here, but expected slugging, expected weighted on base, and expected batting average. Expected marks the spot. Somebody's going to win the series, and it won't be me. Sox and Twins, first pitch, and more of that great stuff from Steve. When we come back, a lot more of it. Wins from Target Field, and our Four Seasons weather for the ball game looks like this. Exquisite in yellow. It is perfect. 78 degrees, a little warmer than yesterday, 32% humidity, and one of the truly, truly great gems of Major League Baseball, this ballpark. that the Twins inhabit. As we take a look at our Insure on the Spot starting lineup for the White Sox. Get your free auto insurance quote in just 2 minutes at InsureOnTheSpot.com. Isolated power, slugging minus batting average on your lineup today. Anderson, Moncada, Grandal, Yoan back in, Abreu, Jimenez, Encarnacion, Robert, Mazara, and Madrigal, your starting 9.
There's Jose Barrios, 26-year-old right-hander, on for his 8th start. 2-3 record ERA of 7 3/4. That's high for him. Look at the walks. That's unusual. 18 walks in 36 innings. We'll concentrate on that. He has given up 5 home runs. But left-handers haven't hit him. That's because of that changeup. So the key matchups for Roman: Yoan Moncada, 8-for-26 with a couple of home runs. Eloy, 6-for-15 with a home run, and Jose Abreu, 9-for-37 with a home run. And they got some surprises on the bench. James McCann has tortured Barrios during the course of his career, and he'll be waiting and ready to go. Our UI Health defense. This is how Rocco Baldelli puts them out there this evening. Rosario, Cave, and Kepler in the outfield. Donaldson back in the lineup along with Polanco, Arise, and Sano. Ryan Jeffers behind the plate. Alex Avila a late scratch, and Jose Barrios on the hill.
Jose Barrios in that powder blue jersey for Minnesota. They wear him once on weekends and then on Wednesdays during the week as well. And strike one, we are underway from Target Field and the limestone home of the Twins. 0-1 is there for a strike. 0-2.
Couple of quick fastballs for strike one and strike two. You're going to see that curveball, and normally it's pretty good. He also has an underrated changeup.
You know, the curveball this year has lost some of its horizontal and gained some vertical. He is trying to throw more of a 12-6 breaking ball rather than like an 8-3 breaking ball. The sweep across the dial has gone away a little bit compared to the up to down.
Well, I think, look, that's pitcher preference. Everybody has a certain thing they really like to do with it. I always felt that I didn't like the 12-6, and the reason is I wanted to start it at the hitter. And if I started at the hitter, I could see his knees buckle, and then it was hard for him to come back and get anything in the swing. When you go straight over the top, you're not going to buckle the knees very much. You're going to get, obviously, a lot more down on it.
Tim left side, and that's right at Polanco. Nice play by Jorge Polanco, and that is a very large barricade. I mean, normally when you go through the toll booth, the gate doesn't follow you, but Sano did, and one gone.
It was a sidearm toss from Polanco. That's, I mean, get the ball, you got plenty of time, stay over the top and throw it on the money. That sidearm flip that a lot of shortstops use, you're going to make more bad throws that way. And it's nice to see Moncada back in the lineup.
Yoan back in for the first time in a couple of days and looking for that first homer since August the 17th. He jabs down a bunt. Barrios attacks it and throws him out. Nice play by the man they call La Máquina, Jose Barrios.
What Yoan was trying to do was push it so that Barrios couldn't field it, because in the shift Donaldson was probably playing a fairly deep shortstop, although he's a third baseman. You see him there. If you actually stay and push that ball, you're going to get something on it, get it by Barrios. But it was almost like a bunt and run situation where he just wanted to put it in fair territory, and Barrios is pretty quick and throws him out actually by about a step and a half.
Barrios quickly ready to throw. Ball 1 to Yasmani Grandal, who gets the start at catcher and moves down a spot in the order to 3 today. 2-0. Yasmani Grandal coming into today, 66% of the pitches he sees he's taken. So 2 out of every 3 pitches he watches this year. He's been patient for his career and even more patient this season.
Well, quickly, he's ahead in the count 3-0, so you don't figure he's going to be swinging here ahead of Abreu. But if he gets the fastball he's looking for on 3-1, if in fact it is 3-1, he will be.
In for a strike, 3-1. Right-hander out of Puerto Rico, Jose Barrios, on 3-1. A breaking ball. That's called a strike.
Oh, that was down. And you know, the last time we saw Ryan Blakeney, he had a very inconsistent night. And it starts off at 3-1 with a breaking ball that's down and out of the strike zone. Watch it again. I mean, honestly, it's really not all that close.
Yeah, this is part of the deal, though, for players in 2020 is players do research on umpire strike zones and see typically where most strikes on average are called beyond the strike zone for each umpire.
I think you absolutely have to do that, because if you scout the umpires, it might save you a strike in a key situation early in the ball game.
Struck him out on a breaking ball. Grandal hoping to get reciprocity for his own pitcher Lopez after this. As we take a look at our Insure on the Spot starting lineup, get your free auto insurance quote in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Kepler, Donaldson, Polanco, top 3 in the order. I get choked up. Cruz, Rosario, and Sano. Arise, Cave, and a late scratch. Ryan Jeffers checks in to play catcher for Alex Avila.
Well, I know that you like Alex, and I know this is, for you, very touching. Ronaldo Lopez goes to the mound for his 4th start.
Empathetic.
He is nursing a 9-point ERA. Looking for better things here. The control has not been good. 6 walks in 8 innings, and hopefully he can right the ship against a team that's hit him to a 6.5-run clip.
Fastball command, right, Steve?
That's really the whole thing. I mean, if he can throw it where he wants to, he's going to be in much better shape. A lot of times he'll try to get it inside on the left-hander. It drifts back out over the plate, and that's when he'll get hurt. The key matchups for Roman. Nelson Cruz has hurt him. Max Kepler has not. Only he's hit a couple of home runs. And Eddie Rosario, not great, but he's hit a home run.
Well, you know, Kepler wants a reprieve from what happened the other night. His drop ball in the 9th inning opened the door to the Sox win in the series opener. He sat and stirred yesterday, didn't get to play.
Looked like he was going to come in for a moment, and then the game ended, but his team did win, so he's got to bring it back tonight.
3-1 for Kepler.
Well, here's where you cannot make a mistake with a fastball, especially one that you try to get in. So you try to keep it away from him. Hopefully he rolls over on it. Kepler's become almost a dead pull hitter.
It was a fastball, and it's a base hit. 3-1 fastballs don't get caught a whole lot, and it's a leadoff single.
Our UI Health defense, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there tonight, with Eloy, Luis, and Nomar in the outfield. Yohan, Tim, Nick, and Jose in the infield. Yasmani Grandal's got the plate, and the aforementioned Ronaldo Lopez on the hill. Now, you can pretty much chart your earned run average by the amount of 2-0-3-1 pitches you make. The more you make, the higher the earned run average will be. I would say with the calf problems that Donaldson has had during his career, if he hits the ball on the ground, which he has a tendency to do, it's going to be a double play. But first things first, you got to throw the ground ball.
And getting ahead would help get you there, as Donaldson takes a slider. This is his first game since July the 31st. So the Twins without Donaldson have found themselves into 3rd place in the AL Central. They're a game and a half back of the Sox and Indians. Cleveland once again playing in Kansas City tonight. And the danger in this lineup grows with Donaldson back, Buxton out today but returning from the injured list yesterday.
Well, you'd never know it by how Adrianza played third base last night, because he was absolutely brilliant. He had what might have been a game-saving play. But Donaldson is very good defensively. That's one of the reasons why they brought him over, that and the fact that when he's right, he is a destructive hitter.
Donaldson over second into center. And the Twins have the first two aboard on singles.
We'll take a look at where Yasmani Grandal sets up, and I think Ronaldo missed his spot. Grandal wanted it low and away, and this one is on the inside part of the plate. This, by the way, is the single most important start in the career of Ronaldo Lopez as a White Sox starter. Because if he doesn't get it done tonight, it's going to be very difficult for him. And so far, it's an ominous beginning, but when a double play can still help get you most of the way out of the inning, you're trying to throw a ground ball.
To Jorge Polanco. Cruz to follow on a first pitch, ball one. This is just not a lineup, even though they are not nearly at the top of the league in slugging percentage this year. They're getting their guys back and healthy. It's not a lineup you can miss spots against, especially over the plate.
Now, when you do that, they got some guys that can really hurt you.
Good breaking ball there, 1-1 on Polanco.
Polanco's had a pretty good series. He actually means a great deal to this team if he is healthy and playing shortstop. First game didn't do much. They won last night. He got a couple of hits and scored a run.
All-star last year at shortstop, and you know they love him in Minneapolis because he got 93% of the local vote. If you voted, you basically voted Polanco in the Twin Cities area. I tabulated ballots all night to get you that number.
I would say that that is a huge number. Out of how many? Out of like 1.5 million?
2-1. Polanco takes down. It's 3 balls and a strike, and this is an inauspicious start for Ronaldo Lopez tonight.
Nelson Cruz is waiting to get to a pitcher that he's hit 500 against, and a guy who is not hitting his spots tonight.
Three and 1 to Polanco. Fastball at 94 to the outside corner. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Jorge Polanco, with Cruz next, Rosario after. Well, Minnesota was 22nd in the league in slugging percentage entering play tonight. Sox number 2 in Major League Baseball, number 1 in the American League.
This inning might just turn on this pitch.
A 3-2. Ball 4, bases loaded.
So now we'll take a look and see just how long it'll take for Don Cooper to get out there. There is a convention at the mound. The whole infield invited. Everybody out there trying to settle him down. First inning, bases loaded, nobody out. Not a place any pitcher wants to be, especially with Cruz, Rosario, and Sano potentially coming up 1, 2, and 3, unless somebody grounds into a double play.
Well, Nelson Cruz coming up the last 2 years against the White Sox has 11 home runs. A short time this year, and then all of last year. Slugging percentage 975.
Look at the batting average, the difference in the batting average. It's been frightening.
Nelson Cruz has seen a lot of sliders this series. There's a fastball, ball 1. That tells me, and correct me if you think differently, it tells me that Grandal feels like he's got to establish the fastball to get a strike even to even set up the slider.
Unfortunately, ball 1 is a bad place to be.
Slider there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cruz helped him out. If he does make contact on that, it's probably going to be that double play we talked about. You know, Cruz last night sacrificed his power to take 3 balls to the right side. It turned into 3 hits. That was the way the Sox defended him. They invited him to go that way, and you know, a guy hitting over 300, he's able to do that, and he did all night.
One and one from Lopez. That's called a strike.
Ooh.
Wow, what a big pitch.
Oh, Ryan, thank you. I mean, certainly Cruz is beside himself, which is tough. He's a big man, and that isn't even close. But look, Lopey will take it.
Throw another one, right? You got to.
Test and see how far that outside corner goes.
It's a fastball off the plate. 2-2. Now a slider. Why wouldn't you throw a slider? Play devil's advocate.
Well, with the bases loaded, 9 grand slams, a slider is your best option if you believe you can get it over the plate.
Lopez thinks it over. 2-2 on Cruz. Oh, a fastball cut him down, and 1 away in the first inning. Wow.
Threw a high fastball by him, and Cruz looked in that at bat like he looked against Lucas Giolito. That's off the plate. Count even at 1. Here's a definitive pitch because this should be 2-1. It's 1-2, and that evens the count. Throws a fastball right by him. So now you get your ground ball.
Yeah, Eddie Rosario is not the best guy to try to pin a ground ball on. He has himself a swing that doesn't lead to very many of them.
Oh, he's got a severe uppercut swing.
Pitch number 20 of the first inning is grounded to second. Madrigal, Anderson, double play. What an extraction that was. Oh boy. The call on the field on the double play, and here's why. Tim Anderson on the feed from Madrigal kicked second base, but the question is, did he have the bag when he caught the ball at second? Watch the foot glide over, and is it still on the bag when he connects glove and ball? If it is, it's a double play. If it's not, it's a run for Minnesota, and the inning continues.
It's also a lesson for Madrigal. For whatever reason, he decided to float the throw to Tim. You got a lot of time. It's a hard hit ball. It's right at you. You give your shortstop a firm throw right in the middle of his chest. You try to hit the name Chicago across his chest. If it's firm, then it's a no-brainer. It's easy. But that little looping throw, for whatever reason, disrupted the time. Take a look at Tim. Hopefully he is dragging it off the bag, but quite frankly, it looks like his foot's off the bag, and it looks like he's going to be safe at second.
It's a huge play because Miguel Sano's looming.
So Lopez should be out of the inning. It should be just a masterful job of wending his way through bases loaded and nobody out. And we'll see. Hopefully there is no definitive proof. Hopefully there is no angle that shows it without a shadow of a doubt he did not touch the bag. If that's the case, Ronaldo Lopez has probably had the best escape artist act of his career.
DJ Rayburn, who's on the left there, the umpire in the top box, DJ Rayburn was pointing at the headset as if to say they weren't getting a feed initially from New York. So there may have been a malfunction with the equipment at Target Field briefly before they decided to get on headset and have it officially work and start the clock on the replay. So they're talking it over. Laz Diaz and DJ Rayburn, the crew chief and the man who made the call, Tim Anderson, waiting. And I think Tim probably has an idea that he was not on the bag when he caught the ball, but let's see. Here's another look at it.
See how the ball floats to him. He's got to reach up to get it. Normally, the timing is going to be such that the ball and Tim arrive at second base at the same time. That high throw disrupted things, and again, we have to hope there's no definitive proof.
Still working on it in New York. So the options here are Lopez stays out on the mound trailing 1-0, or the inning's over, and the Sox will bat in the second inning.
And Rocco would be out of challenges.
Yeah, we've seen the angle. It looks like if the equipment's working in New York, they're going to get the overturn, you would think, but there's got to be definitive proof.
Well, if they can somehow patch it into us, we can tell them that he was on the bag.
Here we go. Out.
There you go.
Wow. Oh my goodness. If I'm a Minnesota Twins fan, I'm not. If I'm a Minnesota Twins fan, I'm furious right now. If I'm an advertiser, I'm thrilled. We're going to break. And it's Jose Berrios. His first 10 starts against the Sox, a 2.05 ERA. Last 5 starts, 4.26 ERA. And the Sox have hit about 75 points better against him in recent memory. So we'll see if they can do that again tonight with Jose Abreu. And you know how it is. You pitch against a team for long enough, they start to get a feel for you.
Well, the great thing about it is a game where one side has to adjust because the other side is going to. So Berrios knows the guys he's had trouble with. The White Sox know there's certain guys in this lineup that have hit him very well. One of those guys is Jose Abreu with a couple of home runs.
By the way, we got word during the break. Multiple outlets are reporting, including ESPN, that legendary Hall of Fame pitcher, former White Sox pitcher Tom Seaver has passed away today, as Jose Abreu's got a base hit to right field. But Tom Seaver, 3-time Cy Young winner, 12-time All-Star, World Series pitcher, Rookie of the Year, has passed away today at the age of 75.
Well, first of all, he was a wonderful man. He was here with the White Sox. His greatest years by far with the Mets. An unbelievably good pitcher. And unfortunately, he had to withdraw from public life the last so many years because he was battling Alzheimer's. And he was just one of the greatest pitchers that ever played this game.
Did you get to know him a little bit?
Not much, but a little bit. Yeah, he was a really nice guy, and he also shared his knowledge with everybody. It wasn't, one of those guys that withdrew. You couldn't ask him anything. You went up to ask him a question, even if you were on another team. He would always talk to you, and he would explain whatever it was. So I thought he was very gracious with his time. He had masterful stuff, unbelievable control, and threw really hard. And there's a story that I'll share. When he came into the league, Bob Gibson was the most intimidating pitcher around, and they hooked up both teams training in St. Petersburg, the Mets and the Cardinals. And Gibson, the first time that Seaver came up, as he was prone to do, he threw a fastball right under his chin, knocked him down, and walked in halfway and said, "Welcome to the National League, kid." The next inning, Seaver threw to Gibson and threw one right under his chin and came down and said, "It's nice to be here."
It's amazing.
It's how baseball was played, but Tom wasn't going to be intimidated by anybody that ever played.
Strike 3, 1 out. He was known as a thinking man's pitcher, but there was definite grit.
Yeah, he was.
In Tom Terrific.
He was a great battler, and I think he won game number 300 in a White Sox uniform. August 4th, 1985, win number 300.
That was his third to last year in Major League Baseball. He had a 3.17 ERA, Tom Seaver, at age 40 in 1985. Probably the most well-liked Met ever.
If not, he's in the top 2.
Mm-hmm. Foul ball from Encarnacion. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Berrios has a pretty good fastball tonight. If he can harness it, he's going to be pretty tough. Our hitters are going to be looking for him to hang one of those curves. So far, he hasn't hanged it, but he'll have an opportunity here because here's another one.
In the dirt and knocked down close enough that Abreu didn't advance from first.
We've seen Jeffers pretty good at blocking everything, and that time tough pitch to control. Curveball, he had to move to his right. Showed pretty good mobility.
Into right and past a diving Kepler. Abreu to second base. He thought it was going to be caught. And 2 on with 1 out.
This is not a bad base running play by Jose. Normally, if you know it's going to fall definitively, you're on third base, but he doesn't know. He thinks Kepler's got a shot. He's looking at him. Kepler's got good speed. He just misses it. And credit Cave. This is a great job of backing up to make sure he gets the ball back in the infield, keeping Jose at second base. So good effort, but 2 on, only 1 out.
Luis Robert leads Major League Baseball with 13 runs driven in on the first pitch this year. 13 of his 24 on the first pitch. He tried on a ball that was about into his shoulder.
We had a discussion on inside pitches. If you're going to go first ball fastball with Luis, that's the place to put it. That ball was a good 3-4 inches inside off the plate. Wasn't anything Luis could do with it. Now, unfortunately, because you've gone deep in there, it sets up breaking balls away.
Donaldson over at third would have to deal with the speed of Robert in his first game back after his injury, the calf injury. 2 strikes. You didn't see it there, but Donaldson was thinking about playing that ball, although it was foul. 2 strikes on Robert.
Now Donaldson is over toward the line and way back at third base. At least he's expecting that Luis is going to pull the ball. Rest of the outfield straight away.
Breaking ball struck him out. And it's up to Mazara.
Terry Francona, the fine manager of the Indians, told his team, you've got to earn the fastball. You earn the fastball by laying off the slider and the straight change. If you don't lay off, you're going to see a steady diet of these. He didn't see a hittable fastball. He saw one 4 inches inside and then breaking ball away out of the zone. Either lay off or they become very tough at bats.
Problem with it is it's harder and harder to earn the fastball in baseball. Fewer than half of the pitches now in baseball are fastballs. Pitchers are throwing more and more breaking stuff, and it's getting more and more evil.
Well, we're seeing a resurgence, Jason, of the curveball, because as guys stay over the top throwing 4-seam fastballs, the curveball comes right out of the same spot. For years, we were sinker slider as an industry, and that was high 3/4. Now, when they're staying over the top, going for backwards rotation with fastballs, the curveball goes hand in hand with that.
Steve, if there's one takeaway for me on the other team's personnel in this series, it's that Jeffers, the young catcher for Minnesota, is very good at his craft.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why he's seeing so much action, is because he is outstanding at blocking low pitches, and because they have a staff where a lot of guys throw sliders. You can't let the ball get away. There's going to be a merry-go-round if you do.
It's not going to be that merry either. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Nomar Mazara, who had a hit yesterday against the left-hander Thielbar. So Mazara's got a hit 2 straight days against a lefty.
Well, this year, surprisingly, he's hit better against the lefties than the righties. We do know if Berríos sweeps that breaking ball low and in, he's probably going to hit him in the foot.
Nomar leads the league in getting hit in the foot.
Usually it's the back foot.
1-2. Struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Berríos. No score after 1.5.
By First Midwest Bank, and it's the Houdini act of Ronaldo Lopez. Bases loaded, nobody out. He throws a fastball by Cruz. And then what should have been a tailor-made 4-6-3, a looping throw. There was a look at it. They said, yeah, Tim's foot was on the bag. I don't know what all the fuss is about. Double play out of the inning.
That's what they said over the headset?
That's exactly what they said.
In New York, they said, I don't know what all the fuss is about.
I mean, I don't even know why you're talking to me. Go back to your job.
Wrong
Go back to your
number.
business.
Remember when you used to have to call the operator and give like the prefix? Tell the kids about that.
Evergreen 25746.
Tell the kids.
My original phone number.
That was your phone number?
Yeah. Don't tell anybody, please.
So how do you type in Evergreen on an iPhone?
EV.
It's exit velocity.
That too. You still get me one way or the other.
Ex-Woba. Time calm. So what was your phone number?
Evergreen 25746.
How did you do that?
I can't remember where the car is parked, but I can tell you my original phone number.
There are kids watching who have no idea what you just said.
I don't know what I just said.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
I think it was 382-574. So you looked at the numbers, you correlated with the number, and it's 382.
So you said Evergreen
to
the operator?
That's what it was. Well, we didn't, Aunt B wasn't on the other end of the line.
Making pies for the locals. Ball and 2 strikes on Sano. Have you seen any of those videos like on YouTube of millennials trying to use rotary phones? It's real good fun. They start to pick up the whole handset. One-two from Lopez. Tried the fastball. Sano sprayed it foul.
Ronaldo's fastball is pretty good tonight. He's actually had some very good hitters either missing it or behind it. I know that he has spoken with Lucas. Ronaldo this winter went through some mind exercises to help him with his focus. I'm sure that he talks to Lucas about what he went through.
Good slider, strike 3.
Well, Sano not particularly happy with that. We'll take another look. Yeah, that's not a strike, but look. Sano takes a seat.
Well, what's a strike and what's not a strike is to be determined by the umpire that night.
It's relative. And Sano still can't believe it, but I think for both sides they're seeing a pretty good pitcher's plate.
Strike 1. You say it and it just sort of rings in our ears, and then it happens again.
I mean, it's look, he's a pitcher's umpire tonight, and so you take advantage of it.
How quick of a bat does Arise have?
Well, first of all, if you get him to just miss a pitch, it's an event, because he usually either fouls it off or puts the bat on the ball somewhere. He's very, very difficult to strike out.
To the left, and Arise sprays it foul. Let's give you some news and notes around Major League Baseball and high-scoring games. The Giants put up 23 runs. Corey Dickerson with 3 home runs in that 23-run deal.
Just missed a 4th, and had he hit that home run, which hit the wall, they would have scored in every inning. Something that's not done very often in the history of this game.
Runs everywhere. 16 for the Cards, 12 for the Tigers over the Brewers for 6 straight wins for Detroit coming into today. Tigers, don't look now, are 17-16 and 2 games back of Minnesota for 3rd.
The Tigers have very quietly put together a pretty efficient baseball team. It came along much more quickly than everybody thought, and they've got some great young arms.
Ron Gardenhire seems to be leading them very effectively, as that is inside. 2-2. Kansas City and Cleveland tonight. 2-0 Indians, top of the fourth in Kansas City. That's Tristan McKenzie, who struck out 5 in 3 innings so far.
Does he have good stuff?
Yeah, glad the Sox haven't faced him yet, because every time I watch clips of him, he's got a breaking ball that's doing something even meaner than the one before it.
He's also got a fastball that when you look at the radar gun, it doesn't jump off the page at 98, 99. But at 94 and 5, most of the hitters are well behind it. So there has to be a lot of deception in a very tall, very thin young pitcher.
I said Corey Dickerson earlier. I meant
Yes.
Alex Dickerson. Thank you.
Yep. Who's your Dickerson? That's what we're playing. Could be Dan Dickerson, who is in the booth for Detroit.
It's not.
It isn't?
It's not Corey either.
No.
It's Alex.
It's Alex, yeah.
Three and two from Lopez. He went upstairs and it's fouled away by Arise. He is a very difficult guy to strike out, as you said.
If he doesn't put it in play early, it's going to be a fairly lengthy at bat.
Three and two. Another foul, which gives us an opportunity to tell you that your 2020 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Talk about a home field advantage. Guaranteed Rate makes mortgages easy. Visit rate.com today. Three and two. In the air left field. Arise said a bad word. Eloy makes the catch. And 2 down. Two out for Jake Cave.
So in the game within a game, this is what Ronaldo was thinking. He would just as soon end this inning with Cave. That means you lead off next inning with the number 9 hitter and a right-hand hitter in Jeffers. If you don't get Cave, even if the inning ends with Jeffers, you have to start off the 3rd inning with Kepler, Donaldson, Polanco, and Cruz. You'd rather start it off with the 9 hitter.
We mentioned earlier that Jerry Reinsdorf, that I have a statement here from Jerry Reinsdorf on Tom Seaver and Tom Seaver's passing here, and I want to read this quote from Jerry. Tom was an artist on the mound who loved and respected the game of baseball with an unmatched passion. He was the consummate professional in everything he did, and at the same time he had a fantastic sense of humor that reverberated around the clubhouse. That's a part of the statement from Jerry Reinsdorf tonight on Tom Seaver, and a major passing for the game of baseball tonight. 1-1 in the air to center. And Robert is back on it. Robert's still going, and it's over the wall. That thing carried and got up and out of here off the bat of Jake Cave. It's a solo home run for Cave in a 1-0 Minnesota lead. That ball had a lot of giddy up to it, and off the bat it looked like it was going to be a pretty lazy fly ball to deep left center.
Cave has had a really good series. Pinch hit triple last night, or 4 home run replay. Again, this is a changeup, but unfortunately it leaks back out over the plate. Luis is close enough. The timing is there, but hits off the end of the glove. And it's 1-0 Twins.
After all the first inning traffic on the bases loaded, nobody out, nobody scores. The ball that Cave hits, it's certainly not a wrecking ball, turns into the first run of the ball game.
Just his 2nd home run of the year, his 10th driven in.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jeffers.
And 40 pitches so far. That's a lot of work in 1 2/3 innings.
Down 2 balls and a strike. we saw last night for the Sox. Cordero, Marshall, Detweiler, and Cishek all pitching in back of Dallas Keuchel. Check swing. He must have gone. Oh, no. Didn't you think he went? I thought he went.
I thought he checked it up. Shane Livensbarger on the call. It looked like he was certainly going to go through, but the last instant I thought he didn't. So again, personal choice of the umpire in this case at first base.
Flip a coin. 3-2. Ooh, ball 4.
So that's why getting the 8th hitter becomes important, because now not getting Cave not only turned into the run, which you don't expect, but also you've just used a lot more pitches to have to get out of this inning.
Lopez to Kepler. Max Kepler takes ball 1. So the strike zone has gone from large to small.
Yeah, last time it was pretty hard to predict where it was going to be. And so far it's mostly east and west, not north and south.
Madrigal recovers and safe.
Close play, but Nick's had a fairly tough series at second base. Now Joe McEwing, he wants to take another look at it. Let's watch it again. So he should be out of the inning, and we'll see what happens. Kepler hustling down the line.
Oh, I think they got him.
It looked to me like he actually hit the bag first. We'll have to see. Yeah, one of the things is he hit the middle of the bag as opposed to hitting the front of the bag. If he hits flush on the front of the bag, he's probably going to be safe easily, and he's safe.
First look we had, I thought he was out, but I could see how you'd say it on the second look. That's ball 1. We're going to be guessing all night, I think. One ball, 1 strike. Grandal couldn't hang on, but no advancement.
Yasmani cannot corral it, but it's a strike anyway.
Uh-oh. Some cutout's about to get impaled.
Well, Donaldson does that a lot. He has always done that a lot. Fortunately, there's a screen up and there's nobody in the seats anyway, so they'll give it back to him.
Go in the Sox dugout, I guess?
I think it probably hit the screen above the dugout, maybe dropped into it.
Let's find out on the instant replay.
Nope, just into the dugout. Yikes. Get out of the way.
Stay alert for changing road conditions. 1-2.
Turning the Windy City into the city that wins. Two first-place teams are giving David Kaplan and company plenty to talk about on Baseball Night in Chicago. Catch an all-new episode tomorrow at 6 on NBC Sports Chicago.
Did you write that yourself? Turning the Windy City into the city that wins?
No, I thought it was pretty catchy, though.
It's going to be stuck in your head like, we built this city?
Well, I like that a lot.
I know.
One of the greatest songs ever written.
What you don't know is Steve has 6 songs on loop that he listens to all day long. It's really fun to be around. 1-2, chop foul.
The changeup, and somehow Donaldson went upstairs to foul it off to the left.
So my question to you is, 51 pitches, how did the Sox stack this bullpen tonight to eat up a lot of innings?
Well, the first guy out of the chute is going to be Ross Detweiler.
I didn't know that the answer was going to be there.
It's right. Yeah, it's right there. That little lighted box in front of you. Sometimes they shift to it. But one of the guys that probably won't pitch would be Jimmy Cordero.
Only sometimes do they switch to it, depending on the city we're in. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Donaldson. Yeah, Jimmy's pitched, what, 5 out of 7 days?
Yes, he has. He deserves a rest.
So they got a lighted box in the lighted box. It's picture in picture.
There you go.
They got that Let's Make a Deal TV they won behind door number 2. It was a zonk. 2-2. That's a base hit up the alleyway, right center field, and rolling to the warning track. Jeffers has scored. Kepler has scored. Donaldson pays off the extra out with a 2-run double.
This has been a very tough defensive series for a team that had played airtight defense coming into it. High fastball out over the plate. Donaldson now 2 for 2. Welcome back to the lineup. The Twins are happy that he's healthy, and he shoots it up the gap in right center field. 4 outs. We talked about 4 outs and the importance of giving any major league team, especially with an offense like the Twins, the 4th out. They usually turn around and bury you with it.
Lopez is done, I think. Steve?
Well, here comes Ricky, and normally that's the, you know what? Can you go any further, or do we need to go to the bullpen with Polanco? And we're going to the bullpen.
We will step aside. Detweiler coming in to face Polanco. Today, Tom Seaver has passed away at the age of 75, former White Sox pitcher. And here is the full statement from White Sox chairman Jerry Reinsdorf, who is a huge baseball fan, and a loving statement certainly of Tom Seaver and everything he did for the White Sox and for the game of baseball.
Well, if you are a big baseball fan, you had to be a big fan of Tom Seaver, because he dominated an era that saw a lot of great pitchers around. Not many the equal of Tom Seaver. Ross Detweiler comes on. It's our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. On for the 12th time, the ERA at 1.29, and he's got to eat up some innings.
So yesterday, Detweiler came in and faced 1 batter. So Ross is pretty fresh here. He got 1 strikeout. We had not seen him pitch since that middle game against Kansas City on Saturday. So this is his 3rd outing since Saturday, but really only the 1 batter yesterday. Polanco spins around and will go from the right-hand side, with the Twins holding 3 runs in the inning, all with 2 out.
One is earned, 2 are not. However, they're all 3 up there.
Two balls, no strikes on Polanco from Detweiler. Well, the Sox rotation this year at the front end with Giolito and Keuchel and Cease have been very good. Lopez and Carlos Rodon have dealt with injuries. Lopez back, Rodon not. Dane Dunning has come up and pitched well. As Grandal puts it on the deck, it's 3 balls, no strikes. Well, look, with this offense, 3 is certainly not insurmountable. We've seen the Sox come back from more than this year. Question is, how do you soak up all of these outs remaining out of the bullpen while still being fresh for 4 straight days in Kansas City?
Going to be put to the test, no doubt.
Three and 1 to Polanco. Donaldson at second. That is ball 4. Do not underestimate the return of Josh Donaldson to this Twins lineup. He adds power, he adds depth. He's 2 for 2 already from that 2 spot in the order.
He also adds defense, and he's a very, very accomplished third baseman to go with everything else he brings to the party. Question is, because he really hasn't had many years where the calf issue has not popped up, will it happen again? Right now, as long as he's healthy, he's a huge force in the top of this lineup.
Cruz gets the left-hander Detweiler, and there's strike 1. Mentioned Ross came in yesterday, got a strikeout of Jake Cave in the 7th.
One of the reasons why that game last night was so big is you knew that this matchup favored the Twins tonight, and the Sox will have to really jump on Barrios because there's a long way to go in this one.
Well, the Sox in that game yesterday put up the 2 runs. It was the first time they had fewer than 3 runs since that Sunday at Wrigley on the 23rd of August. So 3 or more has been the norm for this offense, but you got to keep the offense of Minnesota quiet until the finish line. That's a ball. 3 and 1.
Well, Ross had better make a very good pitch here. Don Cooper, looking on, knows it's going to be a very long night for his bullpen.
Back to Ross. He makes the play, and the inning is over. 2 left on, and we say farewell to one of the greats in Major League Baseball and a great White Sox pitcher. Tom Terrific passed away at the age of 75. 2 tonight, 3-0 the Twins, and Jose Barrios will face Madrigal, Anderson, and Moncada as Marwin Gonzalez checks in for Max Kepler, who came up limping on the ball that got hit to second base. He scored the run, but eventually came out of the game. So Gonzalez in, Kepler out.
He'll check into the 1 spot in the batting order and take over right field.
Ball and a strike on Nick Madrigal, who was 1 for 3 yesterday, 3 for 8 in the series. Two and 1 to Nick.
Well, that's what you have to hope for. You have to hope that Barrios loses the release point on that curveball or slider, whatever you want to call it. It's more a slider than a curve, but it is a huge breaker.
Over the mound to second base, and Madrigal will be safe. Arise kicked it, and Nick gets on at first. All right, StatCast powered by Google Cloud. You take a look at the Jose Barrios curveball the last couple of years, and there's less horizontal break this season, meaning it's more of an up to down curveball than sweeping right to left curveball. What does that do to or for hitters? What's the look difference?
I just think he wanted to make it sharper, because you have a tendency when the break is bigger, it's not sharper. As you take it and make it more over the top, he's looking for a quicker, sharper breaking curve.
To go along with a fastball of his that has some life. The base hit for Madrigal, his 14th hit. He's 14 for 34 in his major league career. Arise throws it wide. A little jump pass by Arise, and Tim safe at first base. So 4 unassisted on the fielder's choice.
That should have been 2. It looked like Arise was rushing the play, and he threw it away. Fortunately for him, it didn't go into the dugout. Leaping over Madrigal. And Sano has had a very good series defensively at first. Can't stop that one.
If Tim runs into Sano one more time, that's going to be the trifecta.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. Tim is outmanned by that man.
The big dude, Miguel Sano.
Yes, sir.
Powerful, powerful man. Yoan Moncada, 1 on, 1 out, and he takes a fastball strike. There is some movement on that fastball for Barrios that has some hop to it at 94. One ball, 1 strike.
If Moncada's legs are feeling good, this is actually a good matchup for him, because if he throws any kind of breaking ball at all, it's going to break in to Yoan. His fastball will move away. The straight change, which he's not using a whole lot of tonight, will also move away.
Oh, yep. Tim was waiting because he didn't trust Sano was going to get rid of the ball, and he was right. Then Sano sort of pumped him and then got rid of it.
Tried to put him in the old trick bag, but it didn't work.
You live in the old trick bag.
Well, yeah, large, substantial bag.
1 and 2. That's not a straight fastball by any stretch.
No, his fastball is very lively tonight. You could tell pretty much early that, number 1, he felt good about it. Number 2, that it had some life to it.
Peppering Moncada with fastballs, 1 and 2. 25-year-old Yoan Moncada, worth about 6 wins last year according to wins above replacement. 1.2 this year puts him on pace for a similar year, even though the slugging is down. He's still taking his walks and playing a pretty good third base. Ooh, boy, just down. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, where they've been trying to throw Moncada is high fastballs. Yoan likes the ball down. This one just missed, but it did miss, and he hasn't been able to get his fastball high enough quite yet in this at bat.
Breaking ball, check swing, and he did not go. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Question is for Ricky, do you run with Anderson here?
What do you think?
I'd like to think he would be going to try to stay out of the double play, because you know Moncada is not running near as well as he will maybe a week from now. Three-two,
it's ball 4. Tim was off. And the Sox have 2 on with 1 out, and time now for our Geico Make It Easy profile in a moment. I was going to make it really easy, but we decided to give it a moment, and then it'll be very easy. I want you to be ready for the easy so it can be easier when it comes to be. Who moonwalked better, me or Michael Jackson?
You did an exceptional job.
Nobody has ever said that. 2 on, 1 out. Grandal, the batter. Ball 1. Ryan Blakeney has adjusted his strike zone last inning. It has become much more true to the K zone over the past 7-8 batters in this game.
Well, that was one of the few straight changes Berrios has thrown, and Wes Johnson's coming out to have a word with him before he can fall any deeper into this hole. They've got a way they want to attack Grandal. Johnson is reinforcing the game plan, just giving him a chance to catch a breath. He's got a very fast pace to his pitching, and so Johnson wants to come out, slow him down. Blakeney goes out to break it up. It is broken up.
And Sox fans, can I tell them this, Steve, real fast?
Yeah, go get them.
The future's bright, and we are just getting started. Reserve your spot to see the Sox live in 2021. Let's talk ticket plans, group outings, and more. Call or text Sox Tix 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com today. Grandal takes ball 2.
2 straight changes. Now pretty easy. You're just looking fastball. You get anything else, you take it, unless it's a real hanger.
Ooh, whoa.
Right down the middle, the express.
Two and 1. Up and out, 3 balls and a strike.
Kind of surprising from a guy that didn't throw many straight changes. He's thrown 3 to Grandal and hasn't hit with any of them, as Jose Abreu would absolutely love to hit with the bases loaded. Last time up, there was one that dropped out of the zone, a curveball in this situation, and it was called a strike.
Upstairs, ball 4. The Sox have him loaded. And this is the fun of this offense that bounces back so well, just like me. It's time now for a Geico Make It Easy profile. Active hit streaks in Major League Baseball. Abreu and Freddie Freeman tied for first. Jose with a base hit in the second to push his along.
We saw Freddie last year, and he is really a good player. And that Atlanta team is coming together. They're getting some surprising pitching. They lost 2 of their top guys.
I was just about to say, they've done most of it without Acuna and Ozzie Albies. Acuna went out on Sunday night once again. But Freddie Freeman, I mean, consummate leader. And they've known that for a long time. As Abreu swats this ball to first, it's kicked around by Sano, who recovers and throws to Berrios. But the Sox get the first run in the visitors column today, and it's 3-1.
Sano didn't have a great sense of urgency.
No.
The ball bounded off. It looked for a moment like he was going to bemoan his fate. He knows he's coming home with it. And Jose, not running as well as he can, gets thrown out at first base. Normally he beats this play. This one he doesn't.
Eloy Jimenez, 2 on, 2 out, 3-1 ball game, top 3. And Eloy sprays a fastball foul. He saw a bunch of breaking balls in that first at bat to a 4-pitch strikeout.
He's always had pretty good luck against Berrios, but the first time up, a couple of curveballs well out of the zone did him in.
Free swinging tonight, 0-2.
Another good fastball in off the plate. Good place to go when you're ahead of the hitter. Now Eloy just has to lay off that sweeping breaking ball away. But some of them wind up in the dirt. Moncada going to come down with the pitch.
2 strikes. Berríos 2, Jimenez. Eloy takes a ball low, 1-2, and that's an example of the new curveball for Berríos that has more drop than it has run.
Fouled it off. High, tight fastball.
.54 pitches now. Berríos in the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, this for him is a heavy workload also. I mean, this inning, especially labor intensive. Last inning gave up a couple of hits, but got out with 2 strikeouts. And the Sox want in that Twins bullpen.
We saw Minnesota last night throw Thielbar, Romo, and Whistler. Romo's thrown 2 nights in a row, 6 batters, no base runners. You wouldn't imagine he'd go 3 straight nights.
Now with what happened to his knee last night, it came out of place once again. And when he did finally leave the game, he was kind of hobbling off.
Breaking ball in the dirt, 2-2, and Jeffers gets in front again. You got Moncada at 3rd, Grandal at 2nd, 2 out. And there you see the bullpen usage since Saturday in total number of pitches. That's a lot of bullpen use.
It is indeed, which is why you want to extend this outing for Berríos. Get him out of there somewhere around the 5th.
Chopped foul. Eloy stays alive.
It has always been in this game, the longer you can stay in the batter's box, the more pitches you'll see, the more frequent the mistake is made by the pitcher. And that's what Eloy is trying to do.
Focus issue?
No, it's just that you can only make so many great pitches in a row, and once the hitter fouls off 3, 4, 5 of them, eventually you're prone to make that mistake. If you make it to Eloy, he's going to hurt you.
2-2. Struck him out. Fastball inside. Sox get a run. 3-1 after 2.5.
Take a look at Jeffers. He gives a sign, even if you can't read the sign. When he moves inside, righty to righty, all night long, it's been a fastball. So you don't have to give the type of pitch because maybe you don't know it, but you know when Jeffers moved inside, it's going to be a fastball. You have a signal with the hitter. Sometimes it's a hand signal. Sometimes you turn your foot out, but it tells the hitter the ball's going to be inside. It also tells them against Berríos it's going to be a fastball. If you know that, you're going to be sitting on it, and Eloy clearly was not.
So as a pitcher, what did you do to counteract that with you or your catcher?
I didn't want my catcher setting up early. I wanted my catcher right in the middle of the plate because I wasn't throwing at his glove a whole lot of times. I was picking a spot that I wanted to throw to that necessarily was not his glove, especially with a lot of curveballs. But I would pick out a spot, throw it there, and it didn't matter to me where he set up. I just didn't want to give anybody in the base paths an advantage.
Jose at first, gloves out, number 1. So why is it now you hear about pitchers talking about, hey, I like to throw him, I like his target, he's got a big target, whatever it might be? Has that changed mentally in terms of how you did it and how some pitchers do it now?
I just think any pitcher has a preference what he wants to do. Some of them throw to the glove, some of them throw to a spot. And the only thing is, when you have some problems, is a catcher will set up really early. He sets up early. For one thing, in the daytime, you set up early, depending on when it is, a hitter can see a shadow of the catcher. If he sees a shadow, he knows he's outside. If he knows he's outside, he looks out there. It doesn't matter what pitch is coming. It's a big advantage for the hitter.
And there are 3 more weeks of winter. Strike one.
That's exactly right. No, I think there's so many things that you can take advantage of if you have awareness as a team. This is a very young team. They're going to be growing together. And eventually they're going to figure out that if you have 1% of an advantage in a situation, you will win more times than you lose.
That's what's so intriguing about the 60-game season is teams had created systems to handle 162 and handle their farm system in as buttoned up a way as possible. Everybody had rules that they followed within their organization and had systematic ways of dealing with this. And then something like COVID-19 hits, and it's a scramble. Teams are handling roster spots way differently than each other. Some have 3 catchers, some do not. Some have speed on the bench, some do not. It's very interesting to watch teams fall into a pocket after everything they'd done for years to build up basically a fortress got pulled down.
Well, that's why I believe that there was a lot of meetings for front offices around baseball, figuring out how are we going to take advantage of this situation, because there is no precedent. We've never been through anything like this before. Yes, he did.
Oh.
Ooh. Wow. Shane Leibensparger says no.
Both turned into Paulie Walnuts there. Oh.
Yeah, I think Sano probably caught a huge break there. Yeah, he went around. I think he realizes that he's going to live to see another pitch, but there for the grace of Leibensparger.
Hey, there's no definition of check swing in the rule book, but I would put that there. That's not. I've not seen all year, maybe even the last 3 years, I've not seen one like that not get called.
Well, usually they err on the other side. They err calling him out on a swing that looks to be a check swing, that would look to be a regular swing.
Here's my point on the check swing thing. When you're teaching kids a sport, they want to know what the rules are. Like, kids are sitting at home watching this game saying, Mom, why is that not a strikeout? I don't know. That's not a good answer. It's not. I don't know. That's not fun to watch.
Some of the mysteries of life.
Yeah, get a definition, baseball. Do better. 3-2. Yep, there it goes. Sano goes yard, and it's 4-1 Minnesota. I assumed it was gone based on his reaction, and then it did fly out of the ballpark later. 4-1 Minnesota.
Ross pretty unhappy, thought he had the strikeout. He doesn't, and Sano does what Sano does, which is hit the ball out of the ballpark. This really a no-doubter. This almost made the second deck. Watch it again, and you see Grandal wants a high fastball, and unfortunately Ross threw a low fastball. It's our 4th home run replay. It's a no-doubter. There it goes.
Luis Arraez, the batter, takes ball number 1. And Miguel Sano is the last guy in this lineup you want to miss to. He is a heck of a strong ball player. Luis Arraez,
pretty animated.
He's doing the floor exercise in the batter's box.
He is pretty animated.
I like that. I want more of that in baseball.
Exuberance is fine. Show it whenever you want. Let everybody do it. Make the game more fun.
Left side base hit. The brakes don't necessarily work, but A little figure skating around first for a rise. Here's Jake Cave. Outside ball one. Jake Cave's got a little gray beard there. 27 years old.
He started off the scoring with a home run. He's had a very good series. He had a pinch hit triple last night, that coming in the 6th inning.
He is out of Kecoughtan High School in the Hampton Roads area.
And for the 3 nights, he's a double shy of the cycle.
Come on,
Yeah, there's
three night
cycle. Yeah,
unbelievable.
that's just one of the added stats. That with
oh, he went
weighted everything.
Okay, waited for Guffman. 2 balls and a strike on Cave, who doesn't think he swung.
Yeah, you say that now, it's going to be a stat next year.
Okay, all right. Before the game, we're sitting here talking, and you're talking about how you love progressive numbers and you think that they've really helped the game in some ways. Wow.
See, that wasn't even close to what Sano did, and yet Laz Diaz called that. You know, before you can really get into before the game stuff, we got to go back and
well, we've got an opportunity. It's just the 3rd. I mean, I know people have heard me stump about the check swing thing, but I really do believe you need to have something. So, I mean, to have one of those be a swing and one not, and flipped the way they were, it's not good for the game of baseball when you have that much of a gray area. It's just not. 2-2.
That was a strike, but unfortunately with Yasmani set up inside, you just don't get the call outside very much. I think, look, if you're looking for one thing that's a definition, if the bat comes across the plate, if the head of the bat comes across the plate, it is a strike. If it doesn't, it is a ball. That way it's uniform and there is no guessing. Everybody has a pretty good idea what is and what isn't a swing.
Isn't that easy though? Like why not do that?
Yeah.
3-2. That's strike 3. Oh boy. Jake Cave telling us what a chicken does. Play the Sox Split 50-50 raffle presented by Wintrust. During every game this season, it's your chance to win and support White Sox charities. Online tickets are on sale now through the end of the 7th inning. Current jackpot is estimated at $300 and growing. Get yours at whitesox.com/Sox Split. Valid for Illinois residents 18 and over. Two out for Jeffers. And that's a strike.
Jeffers does not have a home run yet. However, he is a very big and very strong guy. He also seems to have a pretty good stroke for a guy that's not known as a big hitter.
In the air, first base side. Abreu over his shoulder, slides and makes the catch. Jose played a quick game of pin the tail on the donkey there, circled it and put it away.
Well, the truth is that I had been mired in Sox math mediocrity for a while. After all, it's a lot harder than winning a coin flip. But last night, I was finally able to check all the boxes I needed to in order to get my first win.
Notably, hashtag SoxMath brought to you by GMC. There were a number of phrases in there from Jacob Hahn.
Sounded familiar, didn't they?
That have been spoken by White Sox general manager Rick Hahn. There is also a resemblance.
Just a touch.
And a hilarity level that we have not reached on SoxMath videos. Jacob, well done. You got all the boxes checked and the mired in mediocrity. SoxMath presented by GMC. We are professional grade. Madrigal's jersey number multiplied by letters in his home state plus letters in the town where his college is located minus the number of letters in the county where his high school is located. As that ball is hit to center field and caught by Cave for route number 1. Jacob Hahn, ladies and gentlemen, with your Sox Math video of the year.
Well, the biggest problem is that he probably can't win again, or there's going to be an investigation. And, you know, he did great. He was close a couple of times. He finally broke through with a big win. And now, well, it's going to be tough.
To be clear, as there's a foul ball, nobody, including the general manager, gets the Sox Math questions in advance.
Are you sure?
I am very sure. If I sent Rick the Sox Math question in advance, he'd say delete my number. To shortstop, Polanco's got to hurry and just under the wire for out number 2.
Berrios is getting a lot of mileage tonight out of fastballs inside off the plate, and we have discussed how a pitcher pitches inside. Berrios is putting on a clinic in that because those pitches are not strikes, yet he's getting a lot of swings and a lot of jam shots and a lot of pop-ups and easy ground balls to the left side on that pitch and throwing it by a few people.
Two down for Mazara. Strike called.
It's the best straight change he's thrown. He had very good arm action, good late movement, and he threw it in the perfect spot.
Arm action, what did you like from it?
Looked exactly like a fastball coming out of his hand. Then when you see 86 on the outside corner, 95 looks a whole lot better. Nomar's natural stroke is as a pull hitter. That's where his power is. He hasn't really felt it yet. Hopefully it'll come to him, but he better hit a breaking ball here.
He almost got hit in the shoe again.
Yeah, I don't know how that missed him. It usually doesn't, but this one did miss him.
How's the nursery rhyme go? There was an old man who got hit in the shoe.
Yes, and so many bruises he didn't know what to do. I think that was it.
Somehow you had an end for that. Thanks for the bailout. 1-2, and he struck him out. Down and away off speed. A 1-2-3 inning for Berrios.
Get to the game, and as we see what remains for the rest of the season for our Sox. Beginning tonight, tied for first with the Indians. 24 remaining, including tonight's game. 10 at home, 14 on the road. 15 games against teams with 500+ records. That's going to be tough. Plus, no off days for the last 17. The Sox will play it out and hopefully into the playoffs from there.
Well, the Sox right now, yeah, down 4-1 as it stands in this game, and Cleveland has been leading most of the night against Kansas City since the second inning. But you look at the schedule, there are some favorable matchups coming up, at least in this pocket on the way that you just detailed. And again, the top 8, so top 2 in each division, then 2 wild card teams make the postseason this year. The Sox look like a very strong possibility to make the postseason. It's just a matter of continuing to ride out what we've seen success-wise and building on this 8-over record as it stands right now.
And also then, look, you try to make the playoffs undoubtedly, but positioning is pretty important. Sox would love to be able to win the division. The position is much better than if you don't.
I was just about to say that.
I don't think
but
so.
My growing up in the south suburbs and being a Sox fan made me stop and say there are like 8 relatives of mine saying you got to get in the playoffs first. Like I was about to talk about playoff positioning and I heard like a lot of Sox fans saying don't say that. You got to get in the playoffs first.
Well, I mean, notably, you have jinxed this team a few times. So
Will you stop with
I
that?
can understand.
I mean, seriously, just Frankie, kill his mic. It's ridiculous. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Marwin Gonzalez. Yeah, I'm sure people love your cackling in the background. It's really quaint. Now you're pounding the table. You're so uproariously thrilled.
Yeah, I break myself up.
If only others would too. Ball and 2 strikes on Marwin. Ooh, 2-2 just outside. Look, we were talking about this before the game, and I think we should share the conversation with some fans at home.
Yeah.
This game has been a lengthy affair. We would sit and watch baseball for hours upon hours. We enjoy being around each other. We like bringing you baseball. We've missed baseball a great deal. But I will say the average game time this year for 9 innings is 3:08, and I know you have some thoughts about that.
Well, I do. Look, this year, because of the situation, because of 60-game season, because of the COVID possibilities and probabilities and actualities at times, they're trying a lot of new things. They're trying, obviously, starting a man at second base, throwing just 7 innings in the double headers. I mean, there's a lot of newness that has come into the game. But one of the ways to make this whole situation more palatable is something that they have talked about but never really implemented.
Up the middle, and Madrigal's got out number 1.
It's a time clock for the pitcher. There's no pitcher in the world that needs more than 20 seconds from the time he gets the ball to the time he delivers the ball. You make it 20 seconds. If you can do that and stop the hitter from taking a walk. You know, the hitter, he just can't leave. He's got to have 1 foot in the batter's box. He can't take a walk around any place to gather his thoughts. Get it together and look at some pitches and have a resolution to the at-bat, because we want to see more action in the game. We want to see guys making plays and guys hitting home runs and guys hitting doubles, but we don't want to wait 35 and 40 seconds between pitches. I know there's a lot of very slow working pitchers there. There's more pitchers now that work quickly, but a pitcher's clock would cut time off the game. To me, 3:08 is really pushing to the outer limits of where people want baseball games these days. And so I think it's a pretty easy thing to do. You're looking to speed up the game in a number of different ways. That's the easiest fix I can think of. 20 seconds between pitches. The pitcher has to deliver the ball, or it is a ball, and the hitter has to stay 1 foot in the box, or they'll call strikes. It's very simple.
And you don't think pitchers would be adversely affected?
Okay, so this goes in the I don't care how they're affected range,
right,
because you got to do something to get the game more entertaining. Look, we know this is a great sport. We believe it's the best sport there is, but we are in the battle of our lives for the entertainment dollar. And entertainment in the game is not watching pitchers take their hat off, wiping their brow, walking around, rubbing up the baseball, taking their glove off, and adjusting whatever it is they have to adjust. That's not entertaining. So let's make some entertainment for the fans by seeing continuous action if we can get it. And I think this is the easiest way to do it.
I agree with you completely. I think it's important to note as well, while we're talking about this, that as of 1978, for people who say, well, you're affecting the game negatively and you're changing the game and all that the wrong way, in 1978, the average game time was 2:30. We're talking, what, 40 years ago, it was 2:30. Even back to 2005, it was 2:49. So if people say, well, in the TV era, you have all these breaks, it was 2:49 in 2005, the year the Sox won the World Series. And the other thing I'll say to your point about bringing entertainment into the ball game, it's the reason we can't have garbage like don't swing 3-0. Like, it shouldn't even be an argument. Let people be entertaining. You want to hit a grand slam, go ahead and hit a grand slam.
Yeah, and you don't want a guy to hit a grand slam, make a better pitch.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. So, you know, we can talk about unwritten rules, and I know the whole concept of old school.
Strike 3, Donaldson goes down, 2 away.
Well, the unwritten rules are just that. They're unwritten. And we have regular laws in our society. The unwritten laws, not so much. You're not going to get arrested by an unwritten law. So the unwritten rules of baseball, this is a different age. It's a different player. It's a different sport. Again, the entertainment factor is huge today. So do what you want to do to have fun, because when the players have fun, the fans have fun. We want to see the fans back. Obviously, it's a better game when they are, the cheering and the excitement and everything that goes with it. When they do come back, I think they want to be entertained, and that's a way to do it. Let the players show the joy they have and the exuberance they have for playing the game that they played when they were kids. And now they're just bigger kids. They're still playing the game. They're playing it for bigger stakes, more pressure. But at the end, you do this right, and it's exhilarating. You might as well show it.
Amen. It's my hope, my sincere hope, that based on what we saw in those first couple summer camp games and the exhibition, the intra-squad games, and the fun-loving nature of this Sox team and some other teams that we've seen as well, having to bring extra energy to an empty stadium to still have the same emotion in this. The guys seem like they understand across the league that they have a duty to make this the game, like you said, that they played when they were kids, when the ballpark is empty. They have to add some, and that's a good thing.
Well, look, we were custodians of the game during our time. We took care of it to the best of our ability by a combination of the guys, the older guys we played with, and the younger guys coming into the game, and the game was played that way. But this is a different generation of player. A lot of young kids in the big leagues now, and they played it a different way. There's nothing wrong with playing it exactly how you want to play it.
And there's also nothing wrong, you watch internationally, whether it be in winter ball down in Venezuela or Dominican ball or wherever it might be, or watching in Korea as I've gotten a chance to. There is just so much more of a party atmosphere in the stands and among the players. That's not a negative. That's a feature, not a bug. And so to have more of that in the ballparks, to me, brings an extra vivid life to the ball game, and we could use even more of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, here we are in the fourth inning. We're touching the 2-hour mark, and as delightful as it is, it gives us an opportunity to expound on some of the aspects of the game that maybe are going to change. We're just going to see a radically different game. And maybe the takeaway from this entire season, ever known as the COVID season, maybe the takeaway is that you can do new things and the game won't die. The game will prosper.
I hope somebody wrote that down or kept the audio of that, because that's exactly what it is. This game has thrived because it has done new things. Every time it's run into a wall, it has evolved, not dug in further.
Well, you just keep trying things. Some things are going to work and some things aren't. The things that don't work, you discard. The things that work, you bring forward into a new type of game.
To third base. Now, all that said, we would talk to you for hours as that ball's dropped by Abreu at first, and the Twins will continue on in the inning. Polanco's safe. Moncada threw it down into the dirt.
Let's watch it again, and we'll see who gets the air on this one. When Yuan has a lot of time, things like this happen. And Jose trying to stretch, keep his foot on the bag, and still make the play. And that's got to go E5.
All I was going to say as that ball was coming into first base is you can simultaneously, and I think we both feel this way, we love the game of baseball. We would talk about it for 4 hours, 5 hours. You all saw what fun we had doing the 15-inning game in Philadelphia last year. It was a late night, but boy, was it grandly joyful. We enjoyed the heck out of it. You can love every second of it while acknowledging that some changes could be made to bring in new fans. And we're not the only fans of baseball. There are people out there who don't understand the glory of going through baseball cards and starting to understand stats and the stories of the great players from yesteryear. And if we bring them in by speeding the game up just a little bit in ways that really don't hurt the game, that's never a bad thing.
Zach Burdi loosening up in the pen. Ross has worked awfully hard in his stint in relief of Ronaldo Lopez, who went an inning and 2/3.
So I hope you're all enjoying our podcast on the game of baseball.
Yeah, pretty much that's what it's devolved into. But in the meantime, it does give us a chance to talk a little bit about what we see as the future of the game. And one of the things that our commissioner, Rob Manfred, one of the things he wants to do is talk about a lot of changes, implement a few, see if they work. If not, you discard them, and other than that, you bring them forward. That's one of the biggest differences. Everybody talks about Rob Manfred is not Bud Selig. No, he isn't. Different styles, two different guys completely. And what Bud did for the game was great. I thought he was a wonderful commissioner. And I think Rob Manfred is misunderstood in certain ways, but one of the things he is willing to do and willing to try is changing the game, making it hopefully a better game, a more entertaining game, more exciting game. And with it, hopefully the game will prosper.
Base hit to center. Let's give you our Sox Math winner for tonight. Nick Madrigal's jersey number is 1 times 10 letters in California, plus 9 in Corvallis, Oregon State, minus Sacramento County. That's 10 letters as well. The answer is 9. Steve-O White Sox has won again. He's running out of videos. We're going to get like Rocky 6 from Steve-O tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been dominating things.
Two on, two out. Eddie Rosario, lefty. This is a 4-1 ball game. It feels like it's the 8th inning and it's 7-2, but it's 4-1. The Sox are right there as this ball is popped up to somewhere.
Yeah, well,
First
eventually
base.
they'll get there.
And it's caught. Abreu is there to make the grab for out number 3. Eloy Jimenez, the many faces. You want fun? You want enjoyment? 74 will bring it to you.
Hey, White Sox fans,
Yep.
Xfinity X5 gives you a Wi-Fi security with a warning track on a smarter, more secure home Wi-Fi network. If it's connected, it's protected.
Great job.
Yeah, well, occasionally, you know, you fall behind a step, but I picked it up.
Well, here's my thing. That promo actually has a warning track. It's Wi-Fi with a warning track, so you should have felt the wall coming. You got to reach for the wall, you know. You say that all the time.
Reach for the wall.
To
So
all you young kids out there.
you don't bang into it.
Was that
Absolutely right.
Was that a good impersonation?
That was exceptional. Are you kidding? I didn't even know it wasn't me. I thought I was still talking.
Thank you for joining our Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy hour.
Boy, I'd love to get caught up. I'll tell you that.
Okay. To our producer, Chris Withers, please stop showing Steve the promos in advance. Well, I have a button for that.
You do.
2-1. Ball, says Ryan Blakeney loudly.
Rios can't believe it. He thought it was a pretty good pitch. I think I concur with him, but 3-1, a lot better than 2-2.
That's a strike. 3-2. Take note, starting right now in baseball, about the loudness of an umpire's call with how close the pitch is to the strike zone. I think umpires get louder as the pitch is closer to the strike zone, as Barrios gets a comebacker for out number 1. So no, at some point will touch the bag. He does. As we get you caught up, presented by Honda City. A lot to tell you about in terms of scoring. First couple of innings. Jake Cave deep to left center field, just past the outstretched reach of Luis Robert. Then Josh Donaldson, a 2-run double in the 2nd inning. That was right after the home run from Cave. 3 batters later, an error certainly didn't help. Abreu gets an RBI ground out in the 3rd, but Minnesota has just chipped and chipped.
Well, unfortunately, that could have been a bigger inning, but it was not. Sano was able to regroup.
One strike to Tim Anderson, who scored the lone Sox run so far tonight. Wouldn't you think it would be disconcerting to see a bunch of targets behind the plate that aren't your catcher's target? The Target sponsors everything in Minneapolis. There are like 4 targets behind the plate. I mean, where do you throw it?
They got a lot of that, certainly. I think you can throw inside with a fastball.
Second base. Arise can't handle it. Oh, Sano is angry, frustrated. Arise is too. And look, if you give the Sox free outs, who knows?
Well, Arise waited back, and the statement is you don't allow the ball to play you. You come in and play the ball. And Arise made a mistake. He waited back on it. So that one came off with a lot of spin. Tim was jammed on the pitch. And you see Arise, he's waiting back for it. And when it takes that hop, because of the spin, he gets eaten up. If he comes in to choose his own hop, either back up a step, come in a step and a half, and then smother it on the short hop, you make the play. Goes E4, and the Sox will take it. They got to get some runs.
He never got his feet square on it either. He sort of played it side saddle. As that is a strike, a swerving fastball to Yoan Moncada. Sox are hanging around with power in this lineup. You never know with late rallies. We are not halfway there as it's 0-2. Berrios has used the off-speed stuff pretty effectively tonight.
The straight change has come to him because he didn't have it. He didn't throw it early in the game. He started to throw it last inning with consistency, and now it's becoming one of his main weapons.
Oh, that gets well away, and Tim's going to take second base, and it nearly went down the staircase in the dugout.
Now a base hit makes it a 2-run game. This is one of the few that we've seen Jeffers not be able to stop. That's a changeup, and he gets caught in between. He was going to backhand it, then decided, no, that's not the technique, and this ball bounds away.
One, two. It's outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. See, that wasn't that close to the strike zone, and he just said ball.
No, that one was off the plate. You'd think he'd go back with a straight change, but it's tough to look for.
Two. Yeah, he did.
And that was a good one. That was low and away.
Let's go back to the last meeting. Moncada. Oh boy, what did I do?
Well, he got a low fastball and he took it way out, which is one of the reasons why he's not seen any low fastballs tonight.
Yeah, that'll inform your next outing. You pitchers remember that stuff.
Forever. Some pitches.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like vividly, you can remember.
Can.
3-2. So what's the brightest memory of a pitch?
Well, on the good or the bad side.
Let's do the good one.
The good one, I completed the first 1-0 shutout of a Giants pitcher at Dodger Stadium ever. And I remember the last fastball away to Willie Crawford that he lifted to left center field, beating Claude Osteen that night, and we won 1-0, a shutout.
Wow. That is a really good breaking ball from Berrios that banked in close to the strike zone anyway. 2 out. Wow, look at this thing.
Well, his curveball is improved. You can call it a curve or a slider, but it's a big breaking ball. The problem is it's very sharp, and it breaks late, and you can't read it out of his hand because the spin is so tight, and then all of a sudden, in the case of this one, it explodes down and in.
Now, I have to say, we've been watching his curveball and the break of the curveball. That was much more vintage a couple of years ago, Berrios. That had more horizontal sweep to it. He's thrown almost 2 styles. Grandal to left. Rosario makes the catch. And that will do it. Sox had an opportunity, couldn't score. Halfway home, 4-1. We'd like to welcome our viewers in Fairview, Illinois, watching the game on Mid-Century Communications. And as Zach Birdie enters the game, really glad you got the opportunity to see Bert Blyleven in that piece there, because the tip of the cap to Bert is because this is his final game as the television analyst for the Minnesota Twins. He's going to stay on with the organization But that gentleman, I mean, a lot of people have been kind to me since I've joined up in this job, but Bert Blyleven has been one of the people who was so welcoming to me into Major League Baseball, in the American League Central, a great analyst, a fine man, a Hall of Famer, and we're going to miss him around this league in TV booths.
Well, 25 years he spent as an analyst for the Twins. I had the misfortune of playing against him because the man threw 60 shutouts. There's going to be a generation or two of pitchers that won't throw 60 complete games. Most of them won't. He threw 60 shutouts. Had over 3,000 strikeouts. Was a magnificent pitcher, a wonderful competitor, a pretty tough guy. Wouldn't mind throwing at you every now and then also, but he's a good analyst. He knows the game. When we would go to Minnesota, it was great to sit down and talk with him. He would tell me about their pitching staff. I would tell him about ours, and it just I think he's going to be missed, especially in the Twin Cities. They loved him up there, and justifiably so. So he's wrapping up a great career.
Into right field, Mazara back at the track, and that ball is off the wall. Mazara will play it in, and once again Miguel Sano shows his slugging potential. That's a double ripped off the wall to lead off the fifth.
This is a towering fly ball that just missed leaving the ballpark for his second home run. We'll watch it again. This is high and away. This is actually out of the strike zone, and yet he just reaches up, doesn't get all of it. In fact, for him, he doesn't get most of it, but it hits high off the wall, and a two-base hit.
Did he get frozen yogurt, or I don't know.
He's stirring it up.
Stirring the pot.
Yep.
You should like that.
No, not me.
You wouldn't
Far
dare.
be it from me.
Okay. Luis Arraez, the batter, facing Zach Birdie, who gives a long look at Sano. And ball one. Came inside and got the ball to first. Now Abreu's got Sano hung up. Moncada back to TA, and he threw it away. Wide of Abreu. Sano is trying to come home, and he'll score. It is 5-1 Minnesota, and the Sox have made their third error tonight after a costly 3 a couple of nights ago and 1 yesterday.
Well, the Sox have proven conclusively that they don't do rundowns very well, because in this situation you want this rundown to end with Sano moving back towards second base and Arraez not able to get to second base. So this part of it's good. But right now you got to run right back at Sano. Moncada got rid of it much too quickly and then set everything up, and Sox have saved some really bad baseball for a couple games in this series. Yikes.
Yeah, this is not indicative of what we've seen. Like, if you're just watching the White Sox for the first time this year and you're saying, hey, 22-14, I'm going to join up, stick around, because we have not seen defense like this in this series at all this year. This has not been typical to this White Sox team.
Look, I'm sure this team in both spring trainings worked on rundowns, but you'd never know it by what's happened. That was just very poorly executed. Whether the error is made or not, the rundown was not well conceived, because it has to end with Sano out and Arraez at first base.
One in, one on. Strike one. Grandal in front of it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
the Sox can just keep it close, they've got a secret weapon on the bench. That's James McCann. Lifetime, he's hit 4 home runs against Barrios and driven in 10 runs and hitting .333. If it comes in a situation where you need some runs, James has got the guy that he likes to hit against.
Question is, how long will Barrios be in the game?
I would think 1 more inning.
Right side, that's through. It's a base hit. Another run coming home. Arise is there, and it is 6-1.
Cave has proven to be problematic for Sox pitching. I mean, he's just hitting everybody. 2 for 3, 2 driven in. It's hit just his 2nd home run of the year. He's now driven in 11. Driven in 3 in this series, and he hasn't started all the games. Inside fastball, he doesn't let it get inside, just takes it through the right side and drives home a run to make it a 6-1 game.
Foul ball right side by Jeffers, who was not drafted out of high school, became a preferred walk-on at UNC Wilmington, and now at age 23 looks like a catcher of the future for Minnesota, which didn't need one for a long time after Joe Mauer was back there, and then he moved to first base, and they've been looking for the next guy.
Well, this guy looks like the guy. Now the question is what he will hit. Jeffers is very good defensively. And we'll see as he moves along, gets a little more experience, if he becomes an offensive force.
On 2. Grandal has it rescued by the foot of Ryan Blakeney.
Well, I think that's a situation where Cave can't see where the ball is. It should have gone by Yasmani and rolled to the limestone, but catch a break. It's a slider. He barely gets a glove on it, but fortunately Ryan is right there to boot it right back to him, and no advancement by Cave.
One, 2. Another foul ball. So Jeffers proving to be tough.
Looked like Grandal was ready to throw to first base in a pickoff attempt, but the ball was high and away and foul.
Right-hander out of Downers Grove, Zach Birdie gets strike 3. 1 out, and we get a sneak peek at what's coming up on White Sox Postgame Live, presented by Subaru, live from a furniture showroom. Frank Thomas, Ozzie Guillen, and Chuck Garfien. Yeah. Clean. Good job, Chuck. Beautiful. Ozzie, what a good friend you are, Ozzie. It's all hair gel. I gotta be.
Yeah, Oz, this has been a tough one tonight.
I can't wait for the post game.
Me neither.
Ozzie, Frank, and Chuck will have post game for you. Chuck might have new hair gel. I don't know what's going on. All right, 2 balls and a strike from Zach Birdie. I got to be honest, if that was at all confusing for the people in the Chicago market, the folks on MLB TV have got to be saying, what are these guys talking about? They can't hear the studio on MLB TV.
No, everybody says the same thing. When you go to the studio, we can't hear it. Okay, well, I mean,
Steve, push your button, okay?
I'm
you got
sorry.
the button over there you're withholding.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that's right. You can't.
Three balls and a strike from Birdie to Marwin Gonzalez. And it's down and out. It's ball 4. Congratulations to the Clary family, who've been selected as Securian Financial's Family of the Week. Brought to you by Securian Financial, offering insurance, investment, and retirement solutions to help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com today.
Here's a guy whose reemergence back in the lineup seems to have sparked the Twins. Donaldson in the 2 spot especially means a lot to these guys.
Yeah, this is a much scarier bunch. Just like when Eloy Jimenez was out for the Sox, you add that one bat and then you say, okay, 1 through 9. It's almost like adding 2 bats into the lineup. That's the way it sort of hits me as you look at that lineup. There's just so much more depth.
It makes it much longer with guys who can hurt you, because Kepler's out of the game now, but when Kepler is healthy, you start him at the top with Donaldson second, then Polanco, Cruz, Rosario, Sano. You got yourself some guys, some meaningful hitters 1 through 6. And we've seen suddenly Jake Cave look like he's on his way to the All-Star game, if there was one.
Donaldson dances and discards the ball. Yeah, it was supposed to be at Dodger Stadium. They will get an All-Star game in the future there.
2 years. Next year's already taken. I think, what is it, going to Atlanta next year?
I believe that's right.
Going to Atlanta, and then the year after, they'll have only the second All-Star game ever at Dodger Stadium. What a great setting. I was fortunate enough to pitch in the only All-Star game at Dodger Stadium.
One of your favorite memories, I know.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, then, you know, with talking about the Dodgers, it's notable that Vin Scully has taken to Twitter.
Yes.
What a great follow he would be, especially if he just does videos. Doesn't have to tweet to anybody, just do videos, and he's captivating. What a wonderful man. What a great broadcaster.
He joined today. He's got 101,000 followers.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's only that.
You don't think Vin's gonna reply to people like you do?
Somehow I don't think so. Yeah, no.
I want Vin to read your replies in his voice.
Well, occasionally the replies are creative.
It would be better if you were right. Here, the swing and a miss for strike 3, and 2 down here in the 5th.
Get the first place White Sox right at your fingertips with the My Teams app. You get breaking news, podcasts, and stream every game. Rep the South Side and download the My Teams app today. That was a good one, though. I mean, that, and, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. It's wrong, but you're entitled to it.
You're entitled to your opinion. It's wrong. Two down for Jorge Polanco. I got to meet Vin once. I was doing a Nationals-Dodgers game, and you walk into the booth, and there's like an aura about him. He has his own field around him. And we were talking about this the other day off air. You walk into Dodger Stadium for a game, and he does, you know, he wasn't a young guy at this point. You walk into Dodger Stadium, and they do a pregame thing on the video board, and he does like 5 minutes off the cuff about the Dodgers and the Giants.
Not scripted. He talks about the players and what they do and what they've done and what is happening, and it's really magnificent. But you remember Josh Lewin. I partnered with him for a bit, and we went to Dodger Stadium for the first time, and Vin Scully walks in the booth and said to Josh, "Welcome to the club, son." I mean, who does that? Vin does that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, you're going to tell the story of when you hid Josh Lewin's notes on him?
No, that would be unfair.
We got a 6-1 game in the fifth.
Let's wait till we move along a little bit, see what happens in this one.
Tweet at Steve, remind him about that later in the game. Wow.
The ever-present Jimmy Cordero.
Your one prediction that may go wrong this year. Strike 3. After some deliberation, we'll think it over too. We're going to the 6th. Winners for the American League July/August. You got the AL Player of the Month, Jose Abreu. The AL Rookie of the Month, Luis Robert. 12 home runs, 10 home runs, the best in the AL last month.
No, it's really great honors because in a short season, I mean, you win the Player of the Month, you're pretty much the player of the half season, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. But that has been the kind of year Jose has had. Might as well try to get something going against Barrios as long as he's still in the game.
Third time through the order, Barrios has only allowed so far 3 hits, and they're all singles. He's back to his old tricks against the Sox.
His stuff tonight was special. You could pretty much tell it in the first inning that he wasn't going to give up too much. He did walk a pair in the third, gave up the 1 run of the ball game.
Ooh, Jeffers just got popped.
Yeah, that
the 48-footer is going to hurt your catcher.
Barrios was unhappy with himself, but not as unhappy as Jeffers was.
One and two. Oh, now Jose got hit. Everybody caught a piece, and Jose, you hope he's all right.
That one hurt him because Jose at times appears impervious to pain, and this one he's taken some time with. He doesn't wear a padded up front elbow, and that's exactly where it got him. I mean, most hitters today, they can lean out over the plate because that elbow is padded. This one got him flush, and he said, look, I don't feel comfortable with a padded up lead elbow. Unfortunately, when you catch one off the elbow, it's not a pleasant experience. Twins bullpen is up and going. Let's see if we can do some damage to Barrios before he leaves.
Breaking ball, ball 1 to Eloy Jimenez. Look, 12 outs left. It's a 5-run game for a rapid-fire Sox offense.
I mean, get a couple here, and it's a brand-new ball game because then you're into the bullpen.
Wow, that is absolutely devilish.
Yeah, he's had a special breaking ball tonight, and he can call it whatever he wants to, but that's a curveball. Trevor May loosening up. He of the Titanic home run to Luis Robert. It's his changeup, righty to righty changeup. He keeps lowing away with good sink. That was pretty tough.
We've seen some electric stuff from pitchers this year. There have been a few curveballs that are like the best we've seen all year tonight from Barrios. And he's throwing it with supreme confidence, getting the ball, chucking it. Here's the pitch that ended the last half inning, Steve.
We'll take a look at it, and well, to say that it was outside would be maybe not quite accurate. Birdie can't believe it. Yikes. You get that call? You're going to do okay, kid.
Good honesty, Zachary. That's an amazing look from our camera crew and Dave Turner, our director. Edwin next. Less prone to excessive facial expression. Strike three, one gone. Eloy just has not seen Berrios very well. He had a long at bat last time, but struck out, and that's his third K.
Yeah, that's the trifecta for him. He won't be unhappy to see Berrios go. I mean, he's throwing him straight changes, righty to righty. You just don't see that very much. Normally, it's used to left-hand hitters. Tonight, he's got pretty much everything working for him.
1 on, 1 out, Encarnacion. To right center. Gonzalez.
You can put this one in the archives as a clinic on how to throw inside right-hand pitcher to right-hand hitter. He's done it most of the night. He's used it very effectively. He's not throwing it on the corner. He's throwing it inside, and he's really tying up a lot of pretty good hitters. Well, there was the hittable slider to hit out of the ballpark, and one of the few that Berrios has really missed badly. And Luis is unhappy with himself. He knows he let one get away.
One and one to Luis Robert. You know, people were asking about Luis in 2018. Where'd the power go? And he said, and the Sox, you know, internally knew that the thumb ligament sprain was obviously a massive issue for him that year. But people did say, where'd the power go? And very quickly, that question has fizzled away for Luis Robert, who has been really fun to watch. I mean, he and Kyle Lewis look like 1 and 2 for the AL Rookie of the Year right now.
And still yet to be determined. I mean, either guy could win it just with a very hot last 3 weeks. Looks like he wants a fastball away. He shook off 2 pitches.
Right center field. And out number 3 to Gonzalez. 6-1 your score. Hey America, what do you think of 2020? The Sox are trailing the Twins, bottom of the 6th inning, and let's go to the swap meet.
So I have the first pick.
You do, from Snake Oil salesman Chris Kamka.
Okay, so obviously more games, batting average on the left, doubles on the right, home runs on the left, runs batted in on the right.
Are you a grumpy shopper? You sound grumpy.
Yeah, well, look, he's forcing me to pick the guy on the right, so I'll pick the guy on the left.
Oh, a ruse.
We'll see if it's a clever ruse or just a plain ruse. Because a ruse by any other name, no, forget that.
Roger Ruzek.
Jimmy Cordero, the ever-present Jimmy Cordero, on for the 6th time in 8 games. Let's see if he can slam the door here tonight.
I wouldn't say slam the door at Target Field, because a couple years ago we saw Aaron Bummer real struggle with that bullpen door. So I don't know if you can slam it.
He almost didn't get out.
It's like panic room. Ball 1 to Nelson Cruz. Jimmy Cordero's throwing a lot.
I should say so. but perhaps this is where he finds it. Giving up runs in 3 straight appearances. He wants to end that here.
Second day in a row, Ricky Renteria has had him face Nelson Cruz, and Ricky said after the game yesterday he liked the Cordero breaking ball matchup against Nelson Cruz. Four-pitch walk. Back to the swap meet. So you picked the guy on the left.
Yeah, I had to because it looked quite obviously like it's the guy on the right.
There's no right answer. I hope it's Minnie and Paul. Oh, it's Barry Bonds and Carlton Fisk after 40. How about that?
Well, that's pretty amazing.
Wow. I get Carlton Fisk.
You do.
You get Barry Bonds.
I do.
You know 2 words and phrases?
Well, look, there is one Hall of Famer in there. That's your guy.
It's true.
It's your guy.
Are you asking me to ask you?
No.
About the candidacy of one of the guys?
No, because, we'll see how the game changes, and that is in the hands of the voters, and a lot of things taken into consideration, and the sun rises in the east, and all of those things.
So what you do during the mornings when Chris Withers calls you too early at 10:20 is you're reading the Farmer's Almanac?
Well, it's going to get to that.
One strike from Jimmy Cordero to Eddie Rosario. Twins got 3 in the second. Each team got 1 in the third. As that ball's tagged to center field, Robert is back. He's at the track, and that ball's gone. It's a 2-run home run for Eddie Rosario, and the Twins have an 8-1 lead.
Didn't think we'd see Jimmy today, and he's given up a pair. Walking a home run, Rosario his 8th. 25 driven in. So the Ford home run replay is a changeup right over the middle of the plate. Rosario doesn't miss it.
Two in, Miguel Sano, the batter. That is one step away from the Larry and Balky dance of joy.
Now, you can understand where they're having a whole lot of fun tonight.
Look, if the score holds, the Sox are going to fall to a game back of first place and then sit in second place, a half game up on Minnesota. That's the worst the Sox can end up after tonight. But this division race, and it looks like it's going to be a 3-headed monster going to the finish line with 23 remaining after tonight. This is going to be quite the race for 3 weeks.
Well, there's no doubt. The only thing you didn't want to see was a sweep by the Twins. So the first game, that come from behind thrilling game, put that to rest. It couldn't happen. Last night, the reason you hated to see it get away was just what you're seeing today. The matchup favored the Twins heavily.
We mentioned the Sox have 4 in Kansas City. Minnesota will be off tomorrow. Then the Twins go to take on Detroit. I believe that series is in Minneapolis, but it's a quick doubleheader.
But last time they saw Detroit, Detroit used them as a springboard to start getting back in the race. They swept the Twins.
It is a doubleheader in Minneapolis, but for one of the 2 games, the Tigers are the home team because they lost a game in Detroit. So the Tigers will be the home team in one of those games. And that'll be interesting to see if the Tigers can hang around. If Detroit does well for itself in that series, the Tigers, you have to say the Tigers are at least AL Central top 2 contenders, because if they play well in that series, they'll be about 19 games until the finish line and be right there.
Well, you know, Gardner's not giving up on it.
He went strike 3. The MLB app is the only place to get all your White Sox action. In-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, standings, and much more. Download the MLB app today, the #1 app for live baseball.
Twins bullpen is up and going, so you would think, to score the way it is, that would be it for Berríos.
Oh boy. Arise hops and skips out of the way. And he's still hopping and skipping. He is Little Blue Riding Hood.
He saw his life flashing before his eyes.
One ball, one strike. Sox will be in Kansas City tomorrow night, scheduled to be Dylan Cease against Danny Duffy.
We've seen a lot of Danny Duffy over the last few years.
He pitches with the left hand, and that's good news.
That is very good news.
Arise did a little hop again after the swing. He may not be feeling great right now.
Very animated fellow. The Rays are showing the Yankees that they're not worried about them in the least. They're not intimidated. They're leading 5-1 in tonight's game. That game in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rays have dominated the Yankees, and that's the reason for the daylight between themselves and the Bronx Bombers.
Some angst between those two teams yesterday.
Yeah, they had some problems. Hopefully it did not resurface tonight.
Arise inside out to left. Eloy can't make the catch. Arise is definitely hurt over at first base. You would imagine he's going to come out of the ball game. I mean, he's been hopping around since that swing earlier, and they're going to send out the trainer. But Eloy started back, then could not come in fast enough. And the defense has been as shaky tonight for the Sox as we've seen all year.
Well, the last, I don't know how many times the Sox had to execute. They were not able to do it, get it all out of their systems in this series. And let's not see it resurface for the remainder of this season, because this has not been pretty. Nothing has gone right when they've been called on to execute. They have not been able to. And Eloy just misses it after breaking back. So we'll see how it's scored. Either way, Arise will leave the game. And the inning will continue. And right there, you can tell that he is just hobbling on what appears to be a bad knee.
Adrianza comes in to run for Arise. Well, I can say one thing. The post-game show is going to be interesting tonight.
You would think so.
Ball and a strike. Cordero goes up the ladder. I mean, Jimmy Cordero's out there just to soak up innings for everybody else, it looks like.
Well, hopefully he comes out of it unscathed. He's had an astonishing amount of work recently.
6 out of 8 games.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Strike at 99, 1-2. Strike three. Let me clarify something on Jimmy Cordero. He has thrown 6 out of the last 8 games, but 6 out of the last 7 days.
That's it, and there's a slider, and it's low, but it was good enough in an 8-1 game late.
Nothing like saying, I'd like to clarify something, and then flipping it. But whatever I said, it's the opposite. He's thrown 6 out of the last 8 days, 6 out of the last 7 games. I thought that's what I said.
You
Did I
got
not?
me. I'm just wondering where everything is at this point.
Kamka said to me, I flipped it. I think it's a full moon tonight. I've been looking out at the sky all night long. I swear to you, I think it's a full moon tonight.
It's a strange night.
Is it? I mean, I don't know. It's been a weird night all night long.
It has been that.
And we are glad to spend it with you, wherever you might be, looking out at the stars, tilting at windmills, watching White Sox baseball. There's a strike, 1 and 2. One, two. Into the glove, strike 3. 3 strikeouts in the inning, 2 runs in the inning. We'll go to the 7th.
5 years, Marquette Bank has improved the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners. They're a modern neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. You get 40,000 plus free ATMs nationwide, and they're the only bank with fun rewards. Rediscover neighborhood banking at emarquette.com/75. We get a new pitcher in the ball game. Barrios is done. Jorge Alcala on for the 9th time. Fine ERA, 3.14, 18 strikeouts and 14 1/3. That's very good. Barrios was just too tough tonight.
Yeah, some nights he comes out of the chute and you're like, wow, you're not hitting that curveball. And we've seen it against the Sox a bunch. And tonight was one of those nights.
Well, head-to-head, the last 5 times out against the Sox, he just hadn't been all that good. He hung that breaking ball a lot, and they took advantage of it, but not tonight. It was not in evidence. That hanging breaking ball might have hung 2 of them, neither of which really did him a whole lot of damage.
Alcala very close to a palindrome. Same front as back, but it is not.
If his name was Otto Alcala, that would be good.
First name would be. The whole thing would not. We're learning. 1 ball, 1 strike from number 66 for Minnesota, his 2nd year in the major leagues.
Yikes. That one, Brian Blackney will shake off. Yeah, he would. He sunk that one a little too rapidly.
This, by the way, according to a CBS News report that was one of the sites that was sent to me, but a number of sites have sent me this. This is a full moon tonight, and it's a special kind of full moon that only happens once every 3 years. So, yep.
That's it, huh?
If you're watching the game, you're wondering what sort of mirrors you broke or black cats were in your path. That's what's going on tonight.
And especially with sequential errors.
First base, Sano. Well, you know,
it's that moon.
That's the one.
And the sequential errors. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Usually not a good night when that happens.
I'm not normally in on the moon superstition and the Friday the 13th stuff, but this has been a zany, unraveling game all night long.
Well, the best part of this is one way or the other. It's on to Kansas City for 4.
Left side, little bobble. Donaldson under the wire for round number 2.
He was very close. Nick wants him to take a look at it to see. He doesn't know if he beat the play or not. And Joe McEwing is making the call. There was a bobble. Took probably one extra crow hop. Otherwise, he has him easily. And he hit the front of the bag. So we'll see. Looks like they got him, but.
Ooh. By a hair.
Yep, they got him.
Strike 1. The full moon officially referred to as a corn moon tonight. A full corn moon.
You should have said something because that happens only once every 3 years.
Okay. You are such a good listener. I mean, context clues are really your strength. Typically, according to the story I'm reading, was a signal of the harvest, and a bountiful one at that. We have had bountiful stuff, and 101, by the way, from Alcala.
Yeah, he can rush it up there. These days, the arms out of the bullpen are just outstanding. I mean, it's eye-popping. You see guys come out with 98, 99, 100, 101, and it used to be astonishing. Not anymore.
We like our tweeters, don't we? We enjoy our tweeters.
Absolutely.
Mark Brown just tweeted at me, "Work customer service and you'll believe in full moons." 1-2. Breaking ball fouled away.
Tim battling to stay alive. 90-mile-an-hour slider to go with that 100, 101-mile-an-hour fastball.
You got the My Teams app?
Right here, primed and ready. What do you want? I'll give you anything. What kind of info?
I'd like Vinny Duber's latest story. Can you pull it up?
It was the 3 Bears. I think he talked about it yesterday.
Poor Vinny's going to get tweets about the 3 Bears now. Ground ball right side. Sano smothers it. Alcala is there. Bottom 7. Spooky here on our planet. Perfect gift for the newest member of your family. The package includes a Southpaw onesie and hat, a White Sox bib, and a customized White Sox birth certificate. Get yours today at whitesox.com/newborn.
We got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Cody Hoyer. On for the 11th time. His ERA still pretty good at 3.27. He's 1-0. 10 strikeouts in 11 innings. Good. Right-handers have done absolutely nothing with him, hitting him to the clip of 105.
Cody Hoyer will face Marwin Gonzalez first, then Josh Donaldson and Jorge Polanco. You were going to tell a story earlier about one of your former broadcast partners. Or you were thinking about it.
Yes. Well, he went on to some great things, by the way, despite what happened in Cincinnati.
Fly ball left center field. Luis Robert is there to make the catch. We're speaking of Josh Lewin, who's become a friend of mine. He's a longtime friend of yours.
And a partner. And
great guy. We like Josh a lot.
You know, before a whole lot of people did it, he used to get a ton of information off the computer. Danny Mendick checks in at shortstop. And he used to have it in I don't know, 10, 12 pages. And we were early in Cincinnati, and I hid the notes and told him that they had blown away into the second deck,
So
which
to
was
be
right
clear,
below us.
Josh had printed notes.
Yes.
And he was your broadcast partner.
Yes.
He was trying to make the show very good.
Yes.
Had printed the notes. You hid them.
Absolutely.
And then said they blew into the second deck
Yes.
at Riverfront at the time?
Yes, and it was sad as he was wandering around the second deck looking for each and every one of those notes. I mean, up and down each row. And it was one of those things in a long season where things aren't going well. We hit a few of those on the other side. And yeah, I figured to lighten up the mood a bit. It did for me, certainly. Not that much for him, but he was very happy to get the notes back eventually.
It's interesting that Hard Knock Life was just playing at Target Field while you were telling that story. How long was he down in the stands?
Oh, it honestly, it couldn't have been more than 20, 25 minutes.
You can tweet at Josh Lewin stuff on Twitter. Great guy, great announcer.
Yeah, he's gone on to some really wonderful jobs.
Does he know the story? Did you tell him that?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like you hid my green pen in 2016. Oh, inside.
Ooh.
It knocked the bat out of his hand, and that's going to be, I believe, a foul ball.
Yeah, I think it is, and he says he's okay. That's what you rather do. It's one thing to be able to take first base. It's another thing to be able to continue to play without a broken hand. That hit just above his hands, and he is a very happy man right now. That looked like a changeup.
Struck him out, and the bat once again has disposed of itself.
That's the second time tonight. We've seen him do that a lot for whatever reason. But once again, nobody was injured in this video. Except for almost taking a piece of their third base coach.
Well, look, when the bat comes flying at you, you got to dodge, and that's Tony Diaz over there at third. Good job, Tony. One ball, one strike to Jorge Polanco, who was never really a hot prospect for Minnesota at shortstop. He grew into the position, and he has been as indispensable as anybody on that infield the last couple of years.
Well, they had a lot of contenders to play shortstop, and they gave it to a lot of different people for various lengths of time. But Polanco has taken it and run with it.
Trevor Plouffe, among others.
He was there occasionally, but
he was a contender.
Yeah,
I mean, he was like the next guy in Rochester for a while.
And he was then because of his bat, he was able to move to third base, and they just ran a steady stream of guys through that position before settling on Polanco, and he's handled it well.
Madrigal at second, throws him out, and that will do it. If you have a Rally top hat, a Rally beret, a Rally strawberry beret, put it on.
End this game.
Sox fans, catch the action in 2021 from a private Diamond Suite. Host your closest friends and family with a customizable food and beverage menu. Call or text Sox Tix to 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com today. The full moon at 1:23 this morning, according to the Almanac and our tech manager, Mark Harper. Today, September 2nd, is a banner day in baseball history because it is the anniversary. It was September 2nd, 1880, the first unofficial night game in baseball history.
What, they play with flashlights?
They played with wooden towers at Nantasket's Seafoam House in the Hull, Massachusetts area on the ocean side. So 2 department stores, Jordan Marsh and Company and R.H. White and Company, played a game of department store baseball on September 2nd, 1880. Thomas Edison invented the incandescent lamp the previous year. And the 2 teams played to, this is very fitting for today's length of game, 16-16 tie was the final between Jordan Marsh and Company and R.H. White and Company.
You know, I've seen some games where people bring their cars and light up the field with headlights, and you can play that way, but never one of those bring your own light to the ballpark nights.
They had a small shed, according to the Society of American Baseball Research. There was a small shed with 2 engines inside with 3 electric generators, 1 for each of the towers that they put up. It seems like a major expense that they went through to have department store baseball. Were you part of one of those games where people use the headlights?
Softball.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd you play?
Usually not well.
Center field, and Cave can't get there. It's down. And Grandal books it for second base. Yasmani is safe with 1 out here in the 8th.
Nice effort by Cave in center field, but comes up short. He's done it with his bat. He's also made 1 great catch in the series, but this one, a sinking line drive, gets by him. He's already made 1 of these very good plays, but not this time.
2 more notes about that game between the department stores in 1880. The
Sure.
first night game in baseball history. According to the newspaper locally, the game was played with, quote, scarcely the precision as by daylight, end quote. It was difficult to watch the ball. Also, the game was called in a 9-inning 16-16 tie because the 2 teams had to take the last boat back to Boston.
Well, there you go. I thought they would start with a man at second base and go from there in extra innings, but I guess not.
Well, it was before the invention of Sandpiper Air and Aeromass Airlines, so there was no last flight from Nantucket. Jose Abreu, AL Player of the Month for July/August 2020. Tim did it last year, first month and change. Abreu's done it 3 times in his Sox career, including that first month of his rookie season in 2014.
See, they ask Jose why that helmet looks like that. You can see when he reaches up with his batting gloves, he's getting pine tar. He doesn't have to go any place except touch his helmet, and he gets a better grip on the bat.
Strike 3.
Our advanced security is presented by Xfinity, and back when everything was beautiful, Jose Abreu makes a great catch over the shoulder. Just snags it, and it's way down to hit the grass. He interrupts it and records the out. That was a very good play.
Two out. Here is Gerard Dyson to hit for Eloy Jimenez. Dyson takes ball 1. He came over from the Pirates as Ricky Renteria talks to his outfielder about the defense, I would assume, out in left. First trip to the plate for Gerard Dyson with that stylish mask. Joining up with the White Sox, and a foul ball for strike 1.
I sure like his number.
You do?
Yep.
Wonder why.
It's a good number. Jace Fry loosening in the pen.
You got a well-stocked fridge there, by the way. You need a water. They got all the water in the world.
That's actually a good thing.
They'll want a parched bullpen. That will do it. 8-1 your score. Bottom 8 next. Back by popular demand, you can now enter to win a White Sox-themed Mazda CX-30, courtesy of Mazda of Orland Park. New this season, the car was designed by a White Sox fan. Visit whitesox.com/SoxCar to buy your raffle tickets. Valid for Illinois residents only.
A couple of changes. Yolmer checks in the game at third base. Gerard Dyson stays in the game playing left field.
And Cody Hoyer will throw his second inning after a 1-2-3 seventh. There's Dyson.
Cody's got good stuff.
Yeah, he does.
A little more experience. He learns to command it. He will make a bid for the back end of the bullpen.
Cody Hoyer, teammates of Alec Bohm. First round draft pick of the Phillies 2 years ago, number 3 overall, the third baseman who's made it up to the major leagues. Mike Pelfrey out of Wichita State. Cubs pitching coach Tommy Hotovy.
Good baseball program.
Yeah. Casey Blake out of Wichita State. Mike Lansing.
Spunky little second baseman for the Colorado Rockies in his time. Played with a few other clubs also.
Expos, right? I think.
Yes, rather. No, he's in Colorado.
Both, I think.
Yeah, he was.
And in Michigan and in Illinois as well, Lansing.
Well, we're having a little controversy here. I think that Cruz is out. He doesn't think so.
Yeah, he's arguing.
Yeah, I think he's fair to partly out.
Let's see. Into the glove. Ooh. I think that may or may not have hit the ground.
Yeah, it's late though. It's good enough. Close enough.
He's looking. He said ground. Hit the ground. Nobody wants to strike out.
But we have a pitching change. So Jace Fry in the game will step out. We'll be back.
8-1 your score as we get a sneak peek at what's coming up on White Sox Postgame Live, presented by Subaru. Ozzie, Frank, Chuck, what you got? Chuck, I think people want to hear too. We saw your tweet about your experience at the 300th win too. So here's hoping we hear about that in the post-game report as well, as a ground ball to second base is out number 2, Stony Jace Fry, into the ball game.
He comes in to get some work. Keep him sharp in a game that is a bit more meaningful than this one. Retires Rosario on an easy ground ball and looking for one more out this inning and trying to keep Sano in the ballpark.
Four hits in the series, a single, a double, and 2 homers for Miguel Sano.
They put him literally everywhere. I mean, they knew his bat played, so they put him at third. They put him in right. They put him at first. They put him at DH. So they just need his bat in the middle of this lineup. And he hit leadoff last night, so he gives Rocco Baldelli some versatility regardless of where they put him. Devin Smeltzer loosening up in the pen. He's coming in to potentially wrap it up. Sox do hit lefties pretty well. Maybe they'll hit him.
Center field for out number 3. Devin Smeltzer looks like the front man for an 80s band. See if he pitches in the ninth. Yeah, he's coming in.
We're just 11 days away from the Bears kicking off the season against the Lions. But you can get ready now with the Under Center podcast. Listen to the biggest stories surrounding the monsters of the Midway. Subscribe for free today. And we get a new pitcher in the game. Devin Smeltzer on for the 6th time. His ERA over 6.5.
Out of San Jacinto College, one of the great JUCOs in the United States in terms of providing baseball players. Edwin takes a strike, 0-2.
It was a good changeup. Came equipped with a grunt.
That one too.
Yeah, with no fans, you can really hear about half the major league pitchers are grunting on every pitch.
Kenta Maeda was our first touchstone of that this year.
It's not an activity that you can sail through without effort. In fact, max effort has been one of the catchwords of this particular era of baseball. Everybody goes to the four-seamer and throws it as hard as they can.
There's a lot of discussion about the pausing in between pitches and how much that can get you in terms of miles an hour in your throws.
Well, we both agree that they need to pause less. But there is some scientific proof to that.
Strike 3 upstairs, 1 down.
Let's take a look at the Grandview Homes home run leaderboard for the White Sox. Jose leads the way. Then it's Eloy and Luis, Tim Anderson, and Encarnacion tied. Yoan Moncada with 5.
I would have done the last one if you just let me. I know you had to cough a little. You were getting choked up.
Well, it's emotional.
I could hear it when you said it's emotional. A fly ball right side, and this will get foul. For the cutouts, strike 1 to Luis Robert. Sox will be in Kansas City tomorrow night, and the Sox look like they will be a game out of first place. Cleveland beat Kansas City this evening 5-0. Tristan McKenzie beat Jacob Junis. We'll be on the air at 6:30 with the pregame festivities. This one counts for 1. I know it's hard to remember sometimes when you've been watching difficult defense and the Twins put up 8 runs, but it counts for 1.
Yep.
To short, Polanco. Safe. Robert beat it out, and you like to see that late in the game.
Well, look,
still giving it.
You get to do that 4 or maybe 5 times a game. They're going to take a look at it. Look to me like to the naked eye that Robert beat it at first base, and I would assume that. Let's see again. It's in the dirt.
Oh boy.
Now the question is, did he secure it? It looks like, let's see. Yeah, if he secured it, he's out by plenty. This should be pretty short. Thought maybe it rattled around in the glove or something along those lines, but it did not.
There was a lot of, I thought maybe tonight. That didn't happen. Oh, Polanco said, I got to. Ooh, he gave him birdie face.
Yeah, this is going to be a fairly short replay, you would think.
So while we have a moment, we will show you what's going on in the American League playoff picture. Right now, the Sox are in second place, and they will be in second place even with a loss tonight. That would put the Sox in one of the top 6 spots in the American League. Blue Jays are playing very good baseball. They won again today. Hyunjin Ryu got the victory for Toronto, and the Tigers are hanging around as well.
Tigers playing good, solid baseball. Still in all, this one is going to go to the Twins, and they're going to take 2 of 3, picking up just 1 game. 3 clicks off the schedule. The Sox will drop 1 behind the Indians, and it's still anybody's race depending on who gets hot the rest of the way. It's actually going to put this completely out of their minds because this was not a well-played series. You won a game the first game that you probably should have lost. You lost a game the second game that you probably should have won. And this game you just forget about.
To center, Cave puts a cap on it, and that will do it. So Minnesota wins 8-1 and takes the series 2-1. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, one of those things. Look, again, it was a terribly played baseball game. You put it out of your mind. You go get them. You got a weekend series. You got 4 with Kansas City, and hopefully better times. Luis Robert probably showing the frustration of all of his teammates in not only losing but looking terrible tonight. So Kansas City on the horizon. Get your rest. It's a short turnaround tomorrow night. But before that, how could we miss a Volkswagen? Take a look at the upcoming schedule presented by the aforementioned little car. Kansas City for 4, and then the off day, and a couple with Pittsburgh, and the off day. And by the way, that's the last off day of the year, the 10th, and then Detroit comes a knocking on our door. So still a lot of baseball left, and the Sox in good position to make the playoff run.
One final thought. You got anything to close this thing out as the Twins win 2 of 3 and the Sox go to Kansas City?
Yeah, I think as everybody gets ready to get on the bus, they're going to forget about this. They're saluting Bert Blyleven. The final thought is congratulations to Bert Blyleven. He is going into retirement, but he will be used as an advisor. 25 years, an analyst for the Twins, a wonderful man, a Hall of Famer, and we certainly wish him well. So Bert has seen his last. We have not. We'll pick it up tomorrow night.
We'll circle you in our hearts. Bert Blyleven. Sox fall 8-1, and we say farewell. Our producer Chris Withers, our director Dave Turner, our associate producer Chris Kamka, our tech manager Mark Harper, Greg Bowman, Kevin Cross, our entire crew. Joe Grube up here. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Into the studio, a spirited postgame. Frank, Ozzie, Chuck, take it away.